Okay, it's because I don't know why I always confuse those two.
They look similar, and they kind of do the
Hmm.
same roles, I guess.
Yeah.
But with that being said, everybody, welcome to the 13th episode of the Monday Show. I am your host, Troy Everett Loxton. Joining me, as always, is Raul Rodriguez. How are you doing, man?
I'm gonna say this. This porks. Oh my god.
Yeah, man,
The porks.
we have like a huge episode planned for everybody. We're gonna go into the movies we saw this week. We're gonna review and recap the entire Star Wars franchise. We're gonna talk about the Last Jedi. We will be giving spoilers. That's a heads up for everyone listening. So please go watch the movie and come back and come share your thoughts in the comments. It'll be very interesting. I know this is a diverse film. Noticing everyone on Twitter. But yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go into some television. We'll talk about the Disney and Fox deal that changed Hollywood this week.
For me, it was like a half and half, especially because of the expectations for seeing Star Wars. Because The Shape of Water, like, expunged all my expectations for Star Wars, and after I saw The Shape of Water, my expectations went back. And so, like, seeing the Last Jedi, so I had the luck to meet Robert Kerman for The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, dude. That was for the Last Jedi.
Yeah, he was in my screening. It was a double feature: Force Awakens and The Last Jedi back to back.
Oh yeah. I would
So
have.
we were on the same theater.
Well, why don't we just get actually right into it? Let's start with our first section. There's no place like the cinema. So let's go in. So you were mentioning you saw Shape of Water.
Yes.
I need to know, man. How is it? I am so excited for it.
Um, I always, in my group chat from OSP and YouTube, I always use the same GIF. I use Meg Ryan when Harry met Sally.
Mm-hmm.
When a movie is so perfect for me, or a TV show, or any kind of moment, I always use that GIF. And I was totally Meg Ryan because this movie was fucking beautiful.
Wow, man.
No, 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 no. There's so much Troy. And I don't want, because that's the thing. I thought when I saw the trailer, I saw both trailers, and I was like, this movie has been spoiled already. And no, there's so many surprises. Like, I can tell you, like, in the trailers, like, 40% of 50 is spoiled.
Oh wow.
The other 50 is not spoiled.
And did you going into it? Were you?
Because seeing both trailers,
Yeah.
yeah, seeing both trailers, you know the outline of the story. She's deaf. She works in a government facility. She meets the creature. They they started to be friends, but she wants to defend him. And it's a story about between a creature and a human. How will they react? And that's
Huh.
the thing that you only one needed to know, because I wasn't expecting, and I don't remember that from the trailers. And
Yeah.
it's a little spoiler, but I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
It's a love story.
Oh wow. So it's like it's more.
Uh,
Is it more of a romance then than like a diehard Guillermo del Toro sci-fi film?
it's it's sci-fi with romance. It's a
Oh,
sci-fi romance,
so it's a mix. That's awesome. Did you
and like
did
I
you did you see his
something with
last
the
film?
romance. Yeah, Crimson Peak.
Yeah, I never saw it.
I really like that movie. I know that many people really hated it because it was marketed as a horror film.
Because that was more of a romance too, right?
Yeah, it was a romance also.
That's cool.
It was a romance with 20% horror.
Okay, well, what was the percentages of Shape of Water from sci-fi to romance? Do you think it was more of a 50-50 or more romance than sci-fi?
Um, it was like a 50-50
Oh, that's awesome.
because the sci-fi you already know, but the thing that I love the most is the fantasy element and the romance of the movie. For me, the sci-fi with the trailers, you already know this is a creature that you need to get to know. This creature, you don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
If this creature has any abilities, of this creature can talk. Like this, I'm giving you these questions, and
Mm-hmm.
when you see the movie, you're gonna see the answers. Um, and when I saw the movie, I remember that I forgot a lot of things that I saw in the trailer. But oh my God, Doug Jones. I know that a lot of people always think about Andy Serkis portraying a creature,
Yeah.
but
He's
Doug
incredible.
Jones, he uses the makeup.
Oh.
Andy Serkis uses that stupid suit with the CGI thing. Like Doug Jones, in all of the Guillermo del Toro films, he always uses the makeup.
That's
The makeup and prosthetics.
That's incredible to me. Because and that's why I think I the reason I go to any Guillermo del Toro film is really because he is such a passionate film fan. And I know, like, I watched a couple interviews with him. I think it was a couple years ago, maybe. But he goes through. Have you ever seen the video of him going through his prop house?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, I'm gonna actually link. I'm gonna link that in the description of this video because I think everyone should watch it because he owns the original King Kong puppet.
Oh yeah,
like
I know from the photos. I have never seen the but I have seen the photos.
Yeah, he has a prop like warehouse where he owns all of his favorite movie props, and he has orcs from Lord of the Rings standing around, and like it's incredible. So I know like he's so nice. Like watching him in interviews and everything, he's like such a nice guy.
Yeah, like when I met John Roca, he told me that Guillermo del Toro, he was so nice. I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. And remember when we were talking and I didn't get into the screening with him, like a personal interview with the audience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I wanted to talk to him in Spanish. Like everybody to see that I was the only one asking something in Spanish and everybody bitching that they won't get it. The rich white people that we are like.
Yeah, that's us.
I was already prepared for my moment.
So I'm assuming you're gonna give Shape Out of Water 5 out of 5, hey? Like it.
It's an 11.
An 11. I cannot wait. Yeah, I think it opens up next. Well, not maybe it's this week. No, last
Shape
weekend.
Of Water.
When does it come out? I should have looked.
I don't know. He needed to win for Pan's Labyrinth.
Do you think
years ago? If he doesn't win for this one, I'm sure that the whole country of Mexico is gonna riot.
Oh, so it came out. It came out a couple weeks ago here. So I'm gonna go see it. I didn't realize that. So yeah, let's move on kind of to the next movie you saw. I'm excited for this one too. I want to know how good is Margot Robbie in I, Tonya?
Oh, she's really good. Talking about, because you know that I'm not a sports guy, so I didn't know nothing about Tonya Harding.
Yeah, I don't either. To be fair.
And so when I saw the movie, I liked the story. I liked the comedy. Sebastian Stan and Allison Janney were also great.
I heard that like it's kind of very dark. Like the comedy is very dark.
It's a dark comedy.
Wow. Okay, sweet.
I like those kind of dark comedies, and so especially because there was a lot of meta jokes. Like there's a joke that I like when you see Tonya training, and then you see her trainer, and you see Tonya like carrying like some big pieces of wood, like Rocky style, and then the trainer says, "You see that? She really in real life she did that, like going completely meta." And there's a lot of meta moments, even since then. And Margot Robbie. They break the fourth wall.
Oh, sweet.
I really enjoy it. I could see Margot Robbie getting nominated for an Oscar. Sally Hawkins, she's my number one to win the Oscar for Best Actress in The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
I don't see Margot Robbie winning. I see her getting nominated.
Okay. Do you think
there's a lot of things that Sally Hawkins in that movie, but I cannot tell you because they're spoilers.
Okay.
But I was like, for me, she gave 100% Sally
Wow.
Hawkins compared to Margot Robbie. Like Margot Robbie, I like when she did with accent
Hmm.
and also being like portrayed as white trash. And they show real footage of Tonya. I was like, I don't know why they tag her as white trash. She doesn't look or act like white trash.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
it,
I've never, I
the
don't know who she is, and I've never watched any interviews with her. So, do you think people should kind of be familiar with her before seeing the movie, or should they go into I, Tonya kind of blind and then research her afterwards?
you can go blind. I did the same thing, and for me, I totally get the movie and I enjoy it completely.
Do you think also that does Sebastian Stan? Do you think he has a supporting nom, or is this strictly a Margot Robbie?
Oh, it's a Margot Robbie thing.
Hmm.
Maybe Alice and Janney can get one, but Margot Robbie, she's the one that stands out.
Okay. And what would you? I mean, overall, what would you rate I, Tonya?
I will give it a 9 out of 10.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I think that one's opened up here as well, so I'm gonna have to check it out because I'm excited to see it. And like I said, I don't know anything about the character or any of that, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, like I really enjoy the movie, especially because I don't enjoy sports movies a lot,
Hmm.
and also I enjoy it because it's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy it more, and also because the performances are really good. Even like the fat guy that he's the bodyguard, he's such a dumbass. And I was like, I was like, wow, he did portray the dumbass really well because they also show us the real footage of that interview of the dumbass when he revealed about the Tonya Harding incident.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, they really nailed it. Like,
Yeah, the only like I'm curious because that was the biggest thing I read online. The only thing that I had heard from the movie is that some of the jokes just come out as like being very mean.
hmm
But I mean, I think depending on the situation, that could be pretty funny. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
yeah, and also I think it depends. Like when I saw it. It was me and like another four people. In
Hmm.
some jokes, like me and another guy were laughing. In other jokes, we were all laughing. Like I think it depends of how do you see the dark comedy in it.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, with comedy, it's very subjective anyway, so it really will depend on the person. But
Yeah, but talking about dark comedies, those are like more subjective
yes.
for
Well,
me.
the next movie you saw, Three Billboards, is that a comedy too?
Yeah, it's a dark comedy also.
How I actually, and I don't know anything. I remember seeing a trailer long time ago for it, but I have no idea what this one's about either. Sam Rockwell's in it, I think.
Oh, he's a standout.
Is he? So what's the movie about?
Yes. Oh, very simple premise. It's about a woman that she lost her daughter. Her daughter was raped, murdered, and incinerated.
Wow.
And the movie picks up because you don't see the murder. You never see what happened to the girl.
Hmm.
And so the movie starts exactly. You seen. I always forget the name of the actress, but she's the same actress from Fargo.
Oh, Frances
You
McDormand.
see her driving. Yeah, you see her seeing the billboards, and she has an idea. So she goes with this kid. Oh my God, this kid was a villain in a recent movie, but that I just forget also. But he's pretty also good performer, and he's the guy that he's managing the billboards and saying, "Oh no, like those billboards, I didn't even knew that we had them. So like you can rent them off." And so she says, "I want this to be on the billboards." And do you think it's okay? And the guy says, "Yeah, but are you sure?"
Is
And yeah, and then the movie starts. You see Sam Rockwell driving and seeing the billboards like it says, "My daughter was raped and murdered a year ago." I think it says a year ago or 7 months.
Mhm.
And I haven't. And the second one it says, you only focus on arresting black people and the remove the other thing, and the other thing says, how about this She Willoughby, and She Willoughby is Woody Harrison.
Oh,
And
cool.
so the movie Sam Ravel calls Woody Harrison about the billboards, and then that's how the situation starts. Like Sam Ravel, he's a racist. They put out that he loves to torture black people in the town. He's the one that loves to do it. He always arrests black people, don't matter the crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's small.
Is
and
the
he's violent.
is the boy that you were talking about? Is that the guy from Get Out, Caleb Laundrie Jones?
That one, yes.
He was also in X-Men. He played Banshee.
Yeah, I remember seeing him more younger in another thing, but I forgot it was X-Men First Class.
Yeah. And the only other person that I noticed that's in this that is like I'm really excited to see is Lucas Hedges from Manchester by the Sea.
Ooh, yeah. He has a good role because he's the son of Frances McDormand.
Oh, awesome.
And so there's a lot of things that you want to know more about the film, but you didn't get them because there's a lot of things in the movie. Yeah, you seen Frances McDormand's perspective of the story. You've seen the son's perspective. You've seen Woody Harrison's perspective. You've seen Sam Ravel's perspective. You've seen a lot of people from the town, but you will wish to see more. Like you just said about the son. There's a great scene when she drops the son in the school, and one of the kids throws like a milkshake to the car, and Frances McDormand gets out of the car. Who threw that? Who threw that? And the guy says, "No, I didn't do it." And the kid kicks him in the balls and says to the girl, "Hey, honey, who did it?" "I don't know." And also she kissed her in her vagina. And so that's a very cool scene. And as he says, I'm getting bullied in school because of the billboards. And so I would like to see a scene of him getting bullied at the school for the billboards and him defending himself.
I mean, and looking at the director too, one of my favorite movies in the last little bit, I love Seven Psychopaths. That movie's so cool. So this director, I know he does a lot of the dark comedy genre.
Yeah, I only know him from In Bruges, and
yes.
when I saw In Bruges, I didn't like it as much.
I don't think I've seen it.
I need to see Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah, Seven Psychopaths is Sam Rockwell is incredible.
Like Peter Dinklage has a good role, but you didn't need him as much because his only purpose in the movie is to get flirty with Frances McDormand, and he's only in 3 scenes in the whole movie.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why he has stopped billing Peter Dinklage. Like he only shows up in the whole movie like 6 minutes.
Wow. So what would you rate 3 Billboards?
I really like 3 Billboards. I hope that Sam Rockwell, because Sam Rockwell, he's the stand-up in the whole movie. And also Frances McDormand, I can see her getting nominated. I don't know if she'll win, but I will give 3 Billboards also a 9 out of 10.
What was what did you enjoy more, 3 Billboards or I, Tonya?
That's a good one. I like the cast more in 3 Billboards.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it has a great cast.
Yeah, I laugh more in 3 Billboards than in I, Tonya, but the thing that I didn't like for 3 Billboards is the ending.
Okay.
That's why I can't decide. Even though I like 3 Billboards more, but until you see the movie, we can talk about it because for me, the ending is one of those endings that you need to interpret.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it really will depend on who's watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, before we get into some of the Star Wars discussions, I ended up catching up on a couple movies this week that came out earlier this year that I just never watched. So I ended up seeing The Dark Tower and The Circle with Emma Watson and John Boyega. I'll kind of start with The Dark Tower. thought this movie was fun. I don't know anything about the books. Obviously, we don't read on this podcast.
Oh yeah. What's a book?
Yeah, what is a book?
What a book is.
But yeah, I thought Matthew McConaughey killed it. He was like one of the funnest villains I've seen all year. Like, I enjoyed him better than, and I know this might sound sacrilegious because I love Kurt Russell, but I liked Matthew McConaughey's villain more than I did Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. Like,
I agree.
I thought he was awesome, and Idris Elba, you can never go wrong with him. What did you like The Dark Tower as well?
I like The Dark Tower, but one of my main problems, you can notice that the movie is hardly edited.
Yeah, agreed.
Like one of my favorite scenes is when Matthew McConaughey is meeting those monsters that was hunting the kid in like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And then he says, kill yourselves. And then he says to the whole people, see this fight. And I'm like, I want to see them getting killed without ever stopping. I want to see the blood. I want to see the people enjoying it. Like, that was a great setup.
I definitely
like,
feel
also
that, like,
when Matthew McConaughey kills the mother,
yeah,
I wanted to see the mother getting crisp.
Yep.
And Matthew McConaughey smiling.
I agree. And
but,
that was the only other thing. I feel like The Dark Tower really could use an extended cut.
And also an R rating.
And an R rating. Yeah. If you know, that's the thing. It tried to feel like Narnia. That's what it reminded me of. It instead of being like a, you know, dark sci-fi fantasy film, it tried to be more of a Narnia tone, which was odd.
Hey, that's true. Until you said that, this was not Stephen King's Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a kid that finds a door
also
that goes to another place.
I truly believe, and I know people, The Shining is my favorite movie of all time. I consider this in the same universe as The Shining, by the way.
There's also like a video that they work in the same universe, the Shining and the Dark Tower movies, but in the books, The Shining, the Dark Tower, and there's another one. They all enter the same universe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the books at all, so that doesn't surprise me because it does. I mean, hearing about The Shining in Dark Tower, I thought that was pretty cool. But no, I give the Dark Tower a 3 out of 5. I give it, you know, it's a good. I don't know if I'd watch it like right away, but if I'm ever bored, I would watch it again.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna send you this theory, but it's from the guy from Film Theory, MadPat.
Yeah.
And he made a theory, like, the kids from It, the way that they have their powers and they can talk to themselves, they didn't show this a lot in the movie.
Yeah.
But in the book,
I'm familiar with the It book, yeah.
Because, and so, they mentioned that the guy from The Shining, the guy that says to the kid, hey, he tells him the story about what is the shine.
Yeah.
That same character was in the It book.
Oh, sweet.
And in the Dark Tower, they mentioned that the kid can shine. And so that's why those books are connected.
Awesome. That's so cool.
The Stephen King cinema book universe.
The book universe. Yeah, so I give that one a 60%. What would you rate The Dark Tower?
I will give it a 6 also. It was passable. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I agree. And then, did you ever see The Circle?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't saw it because of all of the bad reviews that I heard of.
That's the thing. So like, I gave this one a 60% as well. So I rated it the same as The Dark Tower. But only because, like, I enjoyed it, but my only flaw with The Circle, and it's pretty much the entire movie is a warning about corporations and technology and how it could pretty much take over your life kind of thing, and how being on Twitter all the time and, like, projecting yourself definitely will have its, you know, it's not all positive. You know, it's definitely a negative thing if you're on it all the time. So I like the performances. John Boyega's in it for a little bit. He's not in lots. It's almost like Tom Hanks and John Boyega were, like, on set for like 2 days. Honestly, and then they filmed all of their stuff. I don't know. It's an okay movie. My only really big flaw is it's just the pacing is so slow. It feels like a 4-hour movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's so slow and nothing really happens, but things happen gradually. Who's the guy who plays Remy in Ratatouille? Patton Oswalt, I think. He's also
in it.
Yeah, he's in The Circle as well. He plays kind of Tom Hanks' right-hand man.
Ooh.
But yeah, I don't know. It was okay. I would recommend people go see The Dark Tower. I can't. I mean, I recommend they see The Circle, but just know that it is very slow. Emma Watson's great though. Also, the one
big, so it's to be great.
Well, and the one girl from Blade Runner is also in it. I'm just gonna look up her name here quick.
Which girl?
The one that's in the city.
The
sorry.
Girlfriend or the hooker?
No, I'm getting it wrong. I meant Guardians. Karen Gillan's in it. That's who I'm thinking of.
Oh.
She plays like a really she kind of, her character has like a really dark arc in the movie. Like she kind of goes crazy. So I don't know. She reminded me of the Blade Runner hooker girl. But yeah, those are the movies I saw this week.
Interesting.
Should we let the Force awaken?
Yes.
So let's get into it, man. The first movie. So actually, for the people that know too, I took the couple days off before The Last Jedi, and I watched in order every single Star Wars movie before seeing it, because I wanted to go into The Last Jedi with everything right in my mind. So the first movie I actually started off with, and this was a recommendation from Raul because I had never seen it, but I saw Fanboys.
Yes.
That movie is so fucking good. If you have not seen Fanboys and you like, even if you like Star Wars a little bit, watch Fanboys, because it's like if Seth Rogen and all of his friends and Jay Baruchel, they all pretty much made a movie about going to help their friend who has cancer see The Phantom Menace before its premiere. So they go. It's really just a road trip movie with a whole bunch of Star Wars and Star Trek references, and it's fun. It's so funny too. The cameos. Oh my goodness.
Yes. And this is a movie. We need to do like a whole hour of talk, like movies that we love, but they're hated in Rotten Tomatoes. I think that this movie has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it doesn't deserve that.
Oh no, not at all. I'm looking it up. Fanboys. I don't like Rotten Tomatoes anyway. I don't give a shit about them. But
yeah,
let's see. Fanboys Rotten.
I think it's like 30 or 40. I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh my god. 33%. What the fuck?
Like, yeah, like, bitch, seriously?
I don't like people.
Like, this movie is so hilarious.
It's
like,
amazing.
It's one of my favorite comedies.
Yeah, I'd say me too. After watching it, like, there's pedophile jokes, there's everything. it's so good. There's poop jokes. It's amazing. Everything you want in a comedy.
All of the comedies, all the cameos, the comedy.
Oh my goodness.
Like, also, I saw this movie. I think I saw it like 8 years ago, and that movie for me still holds up.
Well, like I said, I watched it for the first time, and I loved, like, it held up perfect, like, and especially watching it, and I watched, so right when they, at the end, when they, they say, what if this is a bad movie, I started The Phantom Menace right afterwards, so I, like, watched it as, like, I was sitting there with them.
That's a good one. That's cool.
So, like, I did do that, but yeah, Fanboys, I loved. Let's see what I rated it. Fanboys, I gave a 4.5.
Oh, cool.
4.5 out of 5. I loved it. I didn't give it the 5 because I really, really wanted to see George Lucas at the end. My fingers were crossed that he would cameo, but he never did, so it didn't get a perfect score for me.
I also wanted George Lucas the first time I saw it, but I was like, I think the movie works because George Lucas, he's like a god to many people.
Yeah, and I agree though. That's so true. But yeah, no. So I love Fanboys. And I mean, let's get into the actual Star Wars movies then. Episode 1. Um, I have a bone to pick with everyone because Episode 1 is a great film. I will say it's a great film. I gave it, rewatching it, I gave it a 70%. A 3.5.
That's a good rating.
I think this movie is fun. Jar Jar Binks is not annoying, I don't think. I rewatching it, man, it was weird because I went into watching Episode 1 thinking I was going to hate Jar Jar Binks because that's the thought everyone has about that movie. But like I thought he was cute. I don't know, he was just a stupid character.
Now, you know what's the thing that I hate the most in Episode 1? And that's the thing that I even hate today. I hated when I was a kid, when I saw it in 99. I hate the midi-chlorians.
Yeah.
Because
that's...
when I saw the original trilogy, when Liam Neeson says midi-chlorians, like, they're in the living things, but I was like, you already screwed up the thing about the Force, because Obi-Wan says it and Luke says it, like everybody can be capable of the Force and believing in it. And now you're telling me that the Force is only with some special people that have like more midi-chlorian cells in them?
Yeah. See, I didn't mind that though, because to me, pretty much how I understood it was that some people just carry a stronger sense, like I correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that he was pretty much saying that, like, yeah, that the Force is within everyone, and everyone has midichlorians, but some people, pun intended, their Force is awakened more than others.
Well, that's true, but when I saw it as a kid in 99, I did, and the thing that you just said, that's the thing I was going to say, like, you can interpret that
okay,
more people can awaken the Force in different times.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna get to that point in The Last Jedi in a few moments, talking about the Force. And so, because the Force is the thing that Force is for me, like, when I saw the original trilogy, for me, the Force is like fate.
Yeah, that's a great...
Everybody has different types of faith. Everybody has different levels. Like, for me, I go to church, let's say, like 5 times a year. And so there's people that go every Sunday.
Yeah.
They even go to every Friday. They go like 3 times a week. And so everybody can. For me, when I was little, was like the Force is like fate. If you believe in the good,
it's like
you're part of the Jedi. If you believe in the bad, you're part of the Sith.
Yeah.
And it gives you different abilities.
I agree with that 100%.
And so when I saw Phantom Menace, when I was little, I was like, huh. So technically, I can be a dumbass in this world, because if I don't levitate nothing, I cannot believe in the Force because I don't have this special DNA.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's also a lot of people and a lot of fans interpret that scene that way.
Which, like, I can see that too.
Like right now, that's the thing that I love from Force Awakens, when JJ put out that mask, and like the Force is in any living thing. I'm glad that he brought back the original concept of the original trilogy.
I agree. Like, the only other thing, like, in Episode 1 that I absolutely love too, talking about like things that I wish. Depending on which canon we want to use, I love Darth Maul, and I would love to see Darth Maul again, even if it's in the Obi-Wan movie. Like, I would just love to see more from him, because that character from Ray Park is so good.
Oh, like, I know that many fans, they always look at movies as canon, but well, now with Disney, Star Wars Rebels is part of canon.
Oh, so he is, because he's in that, right?
Yeah, Darth Maul, and I'm gonna give you a spoiler, but Darth Maul already died in Star Wars Rebels Season 3.
Oh, okay.
And so,
and that's when does that take place though? I forget.
Star Wars Rebels takes place like the first season takes like 2 years before New Hope.
Okay.
Right now with season 3 and 4, it's like, I think I heard it's like 4 months before Rogue One.
So depending on, I guess, when they do the because I mean I'm just speculating, they haven't confirmed it, but like the Obi-Wan movie, I believe they're probably going to be doing. Depending on where they set that, I guess you could do it before Rebels.
But it can because Darth Maul dies at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, all right.
And they even have a final fight.
Okay. I need to watch it. Though I have not watched any of the like the animated Star Wars stuff. I've never watched any of it.
I only have seen the first 3 seasons of Star Wars Rebels. I haven't seen the new one.
I own...
So season 4.
I mean, this is probably silly, but I own an Ezra action figure.
Oh.
I've never seen it, but I own him. Like, I think he's a cool character. I just don't know anything about him.
For me, episode 1, when I was a kid, when I got off on the theater, I was with a lot of nerds talking in English and Spanish because I saw it in the border. We were bitching of how that was the movie that I didn't want to see. And I remember my parents, my mother said, I like it. My sister said, it was okay. My father was like, and I was like, no, they screwed the Force. They didn't have the Han Solo cameo that I wanted.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that I wanted in episode 1.
Well, yeah, for episode 1, I liked, I mean, we can probably just, like, we don't have to talk much about it, but episode 2, oh, man, it's hard to get through. Just because it's so fucking slow.
Episode 2 is so damn slow.
So slow, man. It's I had to, like, I almost fell, like, I almost fell asleep, like, a lot during Attack the Clones.
Oh, the first time I saw Attack of the Clones, I remember even my father said, wow, it's Star Wars and you fell asleep. The first time I saw it in 2002, and I said to my dad, sorry, the movie was so boring.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
and he even fell asleep also.
There's some really cool stuff in this movie, though. Like, all the stuff with the clones, I absolutely loved. And especially seeing on Bespin and, like, all of the, like, what are those alien creature guys called? The tall? I like all of that. Like, that was really cool, seeing Obi-Wan go down, like, seeing all the clones being made in, like, that big facility they have. Like, I loved seeing all that, and then seeing even the gladiator arena. Like, that was awesome.
But the biggest problem for me in Attack of the Clones is the romance.
Yes, yeah, 100%. It takes away from the entire movie. And I think the movie needed to show that romance, but I think, like, I think the biggest problem is they just, like, it needs to be edited down. Like, they just showed too much of it.
Like, I don't remember, but I think exactly it's like 30 minutes of them in Naboo getting dinner, going to the garden, and when they almost had sex in the fireplace. And that was like 30 minutes, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, well, what? Yeah, and like even like the whole thing with, when she's sleeping and that is that the third one or the second one? I don't remember. No, yeah, the second one when she's sleeping and that bug comes into the room and shit.
Oh yeah, that's the second one.
Yeah, dude, that just took it was the beginning of the movie. It's like a 20-minute scene. Like it's just so long. I mean, and
also when the decoy dies, that scene wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I agree. And like my biggest and like before we get into like episode 3 too, my biggest problem with the entire prequels, I have one consistent problem I have, and I this is why I'm so excited for the Obi-Wan movie, because I think Obi-Wan in the prequels is garbage. I love the performance, but I hate what they did with his story.
Interesting.
He is fucking how am I, like, I watched them all back to back, right? 1, 2, 3, and then I took a break. I watched Rogue One and 4, then I took a break. I watched 5, 6, 7, and then I went and saw Last Jedi. So I watched them all, and Obi-Wan does fucking nothing in this entire prequels. Like, he goes, like, I do not believe that throughout the entire prequels, that at the end of episode 3, when, you know, he's like, I have the high ground, like, all of that lead up, I just didn't buy it. I'm like, Obi-Wan hasn't shown me the dedication towards Anakin Skywalker that I wanted to see. He was always kind of off doing his own, like, especially in Attack the Clones. They're never together, really.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, he was waste. Like, the storyline of Obi-Wan for me was just so wasted that I want them to do a new movie with Ewan McGregor, because I loved his I think he's the perfect Obi-Wan. So that's why I wanted to kind of redeem himself with a better story and kind of improve his character a little bit more, because like I think he got the jip. I think he was the one character that like just didn't focus on enough.
For me, I like Ewan McGregor's performance. Like, I like everything. I like his storyline in the prequels.
Yeah.
But I think that you just said there's a Star Wars animated series called The Clone Wars, not the one with CGI.
Yes. Well, I know there's the Clone Wars movie too.
There's another one with animated tradition, like the traditional animation.
Mm-hmm.
This was created by Jendy Tartakovsky, the same creator as Dexter's Lab and Johnny Bravo.
Sweet.
This was a mini series. I think it was like only like 40 episodes, or like 7 minutes each.
Okay.
This was a story arc between episode 2 and 3.
Oh.
And you see a lot of the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. You see how Anakin got his scar in episode 3.
Oh,
the
awesome.
scar that he has in his eye. You see how Palpatine got kidnapped by Grievous. You see the origins of Grievous.
Oh.
You see more of the war.
Okay, I need to watch this then.
Yeah.
Because that's what I missed. Like, that's what I obviously, like, that's funny you mentioned that. I didn't know that existed. Like, that's what that story was for that miniseries, because that's exactly what I wanted. Like, that's what I missed out of the prequels.
Yeah, like, even though I agree, like, many people, like, always tell, like, no, I want to see on the movies. I don't care about the stupid books or TV shows. For me, the books are my canon. The movies are my canon.
Yes. Well, yeah, me too. I haven't read any of the... Well, I own all the comic, like the Star Wars regular series comic. I have... I think it just... I think it was on episode... or issue 40 or something. I think I have up to 13 or 14, so I only have the beginning. But I read some of that. That's the only kind of other canon stuff I've ever gotten into.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I totally agree that you just said I would have liked to see more of Obi-Wan.
But in episode 3, though, like, I love, like, I gave episode 2 a 50% because I did like a lot in there. It was just so slow, like we were mentioning. So that's what I would give episode 2. But yeah, episode 3 is an awesome movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think Obi-Wan, and that's the thing I love, Hayden Christensen's performance in episode 3 is a total improvement from episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship is a lot better in the 3rd episode. General Grievous is fantastic. You know, you have the whole thing with Yoda. Like, I just love... episode 3 is a great... I loved episode 3 watching it again.
No, for me, going back, episode 1, I will give it a 6. It's still passable.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I would have gave it like a 3 of how much I hated episode 1. But I like many things from episode 1 when I was a kid because I like the Darth Maul. Going to episode 2, yeah, that's a 5. Like, the only passable thing for me in episode 2 is the Jango Fett chasing Obi-Wan scene.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The clone scene.
Also the Yoda at the end.
And also Yoda fighting Christopher Lee at the end.
Count Dooku. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I like Count Dooku's character as well. I thought that was cool.
And also in episode 3, oh my god, I remember still reading the articles in magazines that it says this is the most violent Star Wars ever because it was the first PG-13. And when Anakin killed Christopher Lee, like cutting his head,
yeah,
I was like, oh my god. When I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna love this. I was like, this is the thing that I wanted to see. I wanted to see death. in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see so many death scenes, like in the theater, Troy, when the Emperor says, when Mace Windu comes, like he says, "You under arrest, Chancellor. Are you trying to be Master Jedi?" And then he gets his golden lightsaber and he starts killing people off. I was like, yes.
And I love the scene in Episode 3 where he kills all those kids. That was awesome.
Yes. No, but going back to the scene that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
When the Emperor says, "Power, unlimited power," and then he kills Mace Windu.
Oh.
Like Troy.
Throws him through the window.
Samuel L. Jackson more than Jar Jar.
Oh, wow.
I hated liked his character so much.
He didn't... The thing with Samuel L. Jackson, though, is he wasn't acting. That's the biggest problem with his character. Mace Windu is just Sam Jackson in a Jedi costume.
Oh, and with his exclusively the purple lightsaber because George Lucas agreed. Ugh.
I think... I don't know. That's never bugged me. I've always liked... I don't know. I like seeing the different color lightsabers.
No. For me, I'm an original guy.
Yeah.
I like only my green, my red, and my blue.
Yeah, I don't know. I gave Episode 3 an 80%. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed this film a lot. Like, and I had so much fun watching it too. Like, the pacing was a lot better. It's a long, it's 2 hours and whatever, but it didn't feel like it felt the pacing was not like Attack the Clones. I enjoyed it a lot.
Talking about Revenge of the Sith, other scene that I love is when Yoda and Palpatine are fighting and then they're in the Senate. Troy, when I was seeing that scene in the theater, I thought that the senators, everybody, the senator was like, "Oh my God, Palpatine, he's the bad guy. He's fighting Yoda." And still, even I remember me and my sister was like, that was a missed opportunity. Like, I would have liked to the Emperor, remember, wing all of those ships in the Senate to Yoda. Mm-hmm. I would like to see all the senators like falling and dying.
Yeah, I agree.
And oh my God, it was like that was a missed opportunity, but still, I love that scene so much. Mm-hmm. And also, Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
Yeah, amazing. So emotional.
I was waiting 8 years, Troy, because I waited. Because I saw the original trilogy in 97, and then to 2005, I waited 8 years to see that fight. I was crying throughout the whole thing the first time I saw it. That's the thing that I wanted to see the most. And I know that a lot of people always criticize even Obi-Wan in that scene, but I love Obi-Wan says, "You were my brother, Anakin. You said you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not live in darkness."
See, okay, and now it's funny you mentioned like that too, because one of the only other problems I had with the prequels, and I'm curious what you think about this. I think where the downfall was, the storyline. I think throughout all of them, I like the stories they told. I'm a fan of the plots. And all of the scene directions and stuff that George Lucas did. My biggest problem that I think that a lot of people don't really talk about is the fact that the dialogue is just very poor. Like, it's very simple vocabulary. Like, there's nothing, like, where you watch a movie like Ex Machina, or watch, like, any movie that has, like, a more of a film. Like, these movies just, the dialogue felt like it was written by a high school student.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there was just nothing... Like, the actors weren't given much to work with. Like, it was very... Like, I could act in this movie. Like, Obi-Wan at the end, right? You were the chosen one. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. Like, that's just... Like, there's nothing to that. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's cool. Like, in the moment, in his performance, like, Ewan McGregor delivers that, like, so emotionally, but... Like, the biggest word in that sentence is darkness. Like, there's nothing to it for me. Like, that was the thing.
Like, it was say we'll make it a more grown-up script. I think if I was Obi-Wan, I would have said a speech I would have only picked up the sword and see him burning from afar, and you only see his eyes crying.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, see,
that would have been more dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
also,
I know.
I think that I was okay with it, but I know the hate when I didn't want it to hear Darth Vader's voice saying, "Where is Padme?"
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
See, that's my biggest
those
problem.
Those are your first words. I was like, if I was Darth Vader and I just got a new body, I would say, and how do I walk in this? Like, not saying that something that ridiculous, but I would say, what happened to Obi-Wan? Or
well,
like,
the thing that bothers me about that line is the fact that how I perceived it, right, watching all of the movies, how I perceived it is that, like, Darth Vader is brainwashed.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, like, I don't, like, to me, having him scream that line, like, is showing, like, that's the thing. In episode 4 and, like, leading into 5, like, Darth Vader doesn't know anything about his past.
Oh, yeah.
So
I totally agree.
So that's why that line bothers me. Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's the moment when the Emperor started brainwashing him because...
Okay, that's... Yeah.
Even though, because he started asking about Padme, and so that's why he says, no, you kill her in your anger.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you didn't need that.
No, you didn't need that either. I don't know. Why don't we move on to one of the best Star Wars films? Yeah, what would you rate it?
I will give Revenge of the Sith a 10. For me, even though the problems that it has, but for me, it gave me the things that I was fantasizing as a child.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because also, listeners, Troy saw the prequels first.
Yeah, that's how I watch. Like,
he's a sinner.
Wait,
he didn't watch the original trilogy as me.
Wait. I actually asked my dad about this week. And he said that he actually watched 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 with us for the first time.
Oh.
So I just remember sitting there when I was a kid having a marathon. One of the days we did end up like how I watched it this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I watched it in that order. I just remember one of the marathons we did as a kid watching it in that order. But apparently I did see episode 4 first.
Oh, okay.
So I can redeem myself a little bit. I have to.
I was leading to a joke.
Well, here's the thing. I have to redeem myself a little bit because you're about to shit on me for the next 5 minutes when we talk about one of the best Star Wars movies in the franchise, Rogue One. Because I just want to let you know, man, I've seen this movie like 5 times this year actually. I give it a 90%. I love it. Are you calling Nolan right now? Or Billy? Are you trying to get me recast?
Oh yes. I already have Christopher Plummer in mind.
Oh shit! No, please don't. I mean, that would be awesome, but yeah, no, I like Rogue One. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great film, especially because of all the reshoots and all the shit that was behind Rogue One and the product. See, this is Justice League needs to take notes. This is how you fuck up a movie and then release it. With Rogue One, in my opinion. Because it's, I don't know, I like it. And I'll admit this too. When I watched Rogue One for the first time, I cared more about the characters in Rogue One than I did when I saw The Force Awakens for the first time with Rey.
Oh.
The Last Jedi actually made me care about Rey, and then excited to see where her arc goes. But yeah, I don't know. I know you could probably go on hours about how you hate Rogue One.
I already preparing your cross to crucify you.
So,
now,
okay, what are your just out of what's your
quickly. Rogue One. I remember when I saw the trailer, I was crying. The first trailer, because that's one of the things that I wanted to see when I was little. When I saw the original trilogy and then I heard there was going to be prequels, I wanted to see the Death Star destroying planets. I wanted to see the Empire starting to attack people, killing people, the oppression. seeing the start of the rebellion. I wanted to see all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, this is part of my prequel pitch when I was 7 years old. Because Rogue One, that was my episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, wow, this is the episode 3 that I wanted, even though I love episode 3, the real one. And so when I saw Inferno 2 months before Rogue One, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna hate this bitch, Felicity Jones. And then I saw Rogue One, and she's my most hated character. Like, I hate her more than Jar Jar. Like sorry, I know there's a lot of people that love Rogue One, but she's the worst written character in all Star Wars history.
Wow.
She doesn't have any story. She's not interesting. You don't know how the hell did she get to that person. You don't know what happened between her and Saw Gerrera. And exactly like Christopher said,
I don't think you need to know, though.
Is gonna launch a stupid canon novel.
I don't know. I think
and that's it.
I never had a problem with her storyline because to me it always made sense, right? She was a kid that, like, you know, there was at the beginning there's a stormtrooper doll, so like I'm assuming she was this kid that obviously knew about everything because her dad worked with, you know, with the resistance, and she obviously there was a backstory with Saw Gerrera because he goes and saves her. So to me that was kind of just like you didn't need to see that because it was already kind of like. If you just put 2 and 2 together, to me, that was like, okay, so this guy obviously took care of her for a little bit, and then when we meet her and she was in prison, that was just like, okay, so this is where she is now. I don't know. That's an interesting point of view, though, for sure. I totally can see why you disliked it, because they don't give you a lot of the answers.
Mm-hmm. And also, that's the thing that I hate right now about Disney, that even Christopher said it about how much he hates Rogue One. That all the answers that you want for Gene Erso, go and read the stupid book. Go to Barnes and Noble, pay $20.
Yeah.
And he compared, talking about, we're going to talk about the original trilogy.
Yeah.
We got everything that we needed to know about Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Leia,
Lando, all of them.
Reading a novel.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That's the thing that I hate right now.
I mean,
like,
but at
I'm
what
sure
point...
that Disney is gonna do another novel about the Chinese guys. Also, bad characters, really, really horrible characters. Like, for me, a lot of people say, "Oh my God, the Donnie Yen, he was so cool, like killing stormtroopers," and I was like, "But why? If he trusts the Force, tell me why."
What is it? I am one with the Force. The Force is with me.
Oh my God! I wanted to kill him myself every time that he repeated that.
You have to admit, though, the scene in Rogue One when they put the bag over his head and he's like, "I'm blind," that was funny. Like that's one of the funniest Star Wars moments.
I agree. That's a funny line.
But yeah, I don't know. Rogue One, I gave it a 90%. I loved it. I would watch it again over and over. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, I'd say.
For me, it's a 5.
Okay,
it's a 5 out of 10.
That's fair.
I cannot forgive this movie only because of the Darth Vader scene and the final 20-minute battle.
Oh, and the Darth Vader
scene has a lot of problems for me. A lot. Like, if we start talking about the problems that I have with Rogue One, it could be a 3-hour talk only about that.
That's true. And I think the only other positive I kind of wanted to mention about Rogue One before we move on to the best Star Wars films are the fact that, like, it's beautiful. The cinematography in Rogue One, like, if you just turned the sound off and watched it, just watching the visuals, it's incredible. That's one of my favorite things about Star Wars is just how beautiful Rogue One looks and how the scenes and everything is put together.
Talk about visuals, and so seeing the CGI Tarkin is beautiful.
I loved it. I thought he looked great. I watched it in 4K just recently, and he looks like, if you're watching it in full HD, he looks real. Like watching it on my TV, like watching it on like a professional television. Like, I think Peter Cushing looked great. I don't think Princess Leia at the end looked that great. Something was wrong with her mouth, I found.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I mean, considering that we were able to still see him and see her and not have them look terrible, Because that was another thing. I found, I mean, not to go back again, but like, even the effects. I thought the effects in episode 1 looked better than episode 2. But then episode 3 was better than both of them. So, to me, the effects leading into the prequels were weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, let's get into Star Wars, man. A New Hope. This movie is a 5 out of 5.
Yes.
It is perfect. Rewatching it again, I actually watched. I was curious about it because the last time I had watched the original trilogy, I ended up finding copies of the VHSs. So like without the remastered. So I had watched those, but in this one, I watched the remastered versions of them, and I liked it. I didn't find it detracted at all.
Oh, there, okay.
Yeah, what's the last thing that you said?
Just that, like when I watched the Star Wars movies originally, I had only seen the VHS copies, like without the editing that he did afterwards.
Ooh.
But I had just, like, watching them, I just rewatched them with the remastered, and I liked them. I thought it added some cool stuff.
For me, I think I saw the original version in theaters because it was a special edition, but they didn't have like a lot. Like the worst special edition is the one in DVD for me.
That's the one I ended up watching.
Talking about New Hope, and recently because I found the original VHS on a flea market 2 years ago, and yeah, I also saw the original version of A New Hope. I like them both. Like the only thing that I don't like talking about the special edition is like when you see Obi-Wan and Luke getting into Tatooine and you see all those extra CGI creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like those creatures didn't need to be there.
I agree. I didn't hate it that I saw it. Like they didn't look terrible to me, like the effects. But you definitely could tell they were added in.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look natural to the scene.
Yeah, like for me, I saw this movie 20 years ago in a movie theater. My mother surprised me. It's a movie that I didn't know nothing about. Not even a friend in school told me about this movie. And seeing it in that theater, it's a movie that changed me. I know that's cliche that a lot of people say.
No, but it's true, man.
Changed. But no. That was a beautiful thing. Like, talking about world building and universe building, when Obi-Wan says, "Oh, I fought in the Clone Wars, and I had an apprentice, Darth Vader. He was a great apprentice, but then he went to the dark side, and then he betrayed and murdered your father." And like that whole lines of Obi-Wan in that movie with Luke, that's the setup for the prequels.
Yeah.
Those 5 lines of dialogue, those are the prequels.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I love so much about world building. Oh, like remember when I said my pitch for the Han Solo movie?
Yeah.
All the Han Solo facts that you know in New Hope and in Empire Strikes Back, those are the things I'm gonna touch on of the Han Solo movie.
Yeah.
Rogue
I agree.
Rogue
One was the same way.
The plot of the Rogue One is in the Crow in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Like George Lucas did a universe building before the cinematic universes was a thing.
Well, and I think that's just filmmaking. Like a lot of the great movies from the past, especially like late 70s, early 80s, well, most of the 80s, like the world and everything established in these films, like was like none other. Like it was done so well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the first
like,
Star Wars, man.
Talking about universe building, even though a lot of the sequels suck, like The Exorcist, there was a lot of elements that they touched on the sequels.
Yeah.
Talking about only The Exorcist was based on only one book. Or talking right now with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's true.
There already have been already 5 movies and they're only based on one book.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what now. Star Wars. was there any negatives you had about the first? For me, like it was, I have no complaints. It's a perfect movie for me. Like there was there was nothing in it that I would change or
nothing. For me, that's an 11 for me.
Yeah, okay, I will say that too. For me, definitely an 11. Because it's a life-changing film, really. And I know some people don't like Star Wars and it's not for everyone, and I respect that. But like for a lot of people, that first Star Wars, it came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. It's a movie that changed the game. Like I still remember that was for Star Wars was one of the first that I wanted to see the behind the scenes of things.
Yeah.
I saw the Empire of Dreams documentary. It's one of the best documentaries ever.
Yeah, I want to watch it.
The history of Star Wars, the behind the scenes, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my wishes, if I had a time travel, I would like to see Star Wars in 1977 in the Chinese theater.
Yeah, that would be
seeing
incredible.
People reacting to it.
Actually, if I had a time machine, I would go back to see The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, seeing everybody flip.
Yeah, because that was insane.
Yeah.
Rewatching Empire Strikes Back, I'll be completely honest with everyone on here. I didn't remember half that film. I was ashamed. There was shit in that movie. I was like, I have never seen it. Like, I don't remember this at all. Like most of the Yoda stuff, I don't remember. I didn't remember. Like to me, that was what was funny because Yoda in the prequels is badass, but Yoda in the original trilogy is just fucking crazy.
Oh yeah,
he's a crazy old man.
He lost his marbles.
Yeah, that's why I loved Last Jedi. By the way, spoilers. Because he was fucking crazy still. It was great. But yeah, Empire Strikes Back, man. That movie took what Star Wars did, and like for me, I know this is gonna be. I don't know if this is controversial or not, but like to me, Empire Strikes Back, I gave also a 10. Like it's also a perfect film for me. But what it did better than Episode 4 is it feels kind of like what Last Jedi did for me. I know that's gonna sound weird, but like it feels more like a film. Like it feels like an actual a director came on, and like how it's all edited and the pacing and everything just feels like incredible. I don't know.
For me, even though I like New Hope more than Empire Strikes Back, and I love Empire Strikes Back, and I agree with the thing you just said. It's a more well-directed film.
Yeah.
It has better dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But I always appreciate A New Hope even more because if it wasn't for A New Hope, we didn't have the universe that we have right now.
Yeah. And that's a very fair point.
And Empire Strikes Back, a lot of people will say, a lot of people love Empire Strikes Back only for the Vader moment. No,
dude, that movie.
There's a lot of things in Empire, like the hot scene.
Yeah.
Like the Yoda training scene. Leia and Han's romance, a better romance than the one in the Last Jedi that we're gonna go later.
Yeah.
The romance between Han and Leia, like I cried every time when Leia says I love you, Han says I know.
Yeah.
I remember crying so much the first time I saw that in my TV.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that was the thing.
That's the thing that I love from Empire Strikes Back. Also, the characters, the heroes are in a dark place.
Yeah.
You see them getting hurt.
Well,
that's the thing that I love from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and another thing, like it's I don't remember how long Empire Strikes Back was, but like that was the thing. It was longer, but it didn't feel like it felt like more. I don't know what word I'm trying to say, but it felt very much like an old classic film, even though it is. I don't, does that make sense? Do you know, like it's just that feeling of it.
I agree because even I'm gonna agree. Like A New Hope has a slow moments, but Empire Strikes Back has better pacing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it.
The movie never slows down.
No, it's from the very first, from the Lucasfilm logo. Honestly, it's amazing.
Like also other great scenes, Darth Vader in the table, like revealing that Lando agreed with had a contract with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Darth Vader torturing Han Solo. Like, oh, I love like the deal. The deal has changed, like Lando, and this deal is getting worse all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many great moments, like even like seeing C-3PO getting dismantled by those pigs.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many great moments. Even like put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. Like, even that scene is memorable.
It is, and that's actually kind of. This is. I'm curious to get your perspective on Return of the Jedi, because for me, when I watched, because I like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, or Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I ended up watching back to back as well. Mm-hmm. Without stopping, like I edited it, like the intro into it. I fucking love Return of the Jedi, almost as much as Empire.
I don't know why many people hate Return of the Jedi.
It's to me, it's here's another thing. The Ewoks, I don't understand the hate because I thought they were great supporting characters. You know, I liked everything with the Ewoks.
Mm-hmm. Also, another thing that I really love about Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I remember my 8-year-old self when Darth Vader says, "Look, I am your father. Seeing your feelings, you know it's to be true." And then he screams, and then he goes into the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I remember pausing in that moment exactly when he gets into the tunnel, and I said to my mom was doing the dishes, "Mom, he's lying, right?" and my mother said, "What do you think he's lying?" "Mom, he's a machine." "How the hell did he have a kid if he's a machine?" And she laughed and said, "They're going to answer that in the next one. Keep watching." I was already asking biology questions and talking about faith in A New Hope. I was already asking theology questions, talking about faith in A New Hope.
Yeah.
So Star Wars made me more interested in the story behind the story that we're living right now and knowing the past and the present and the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Return of the Jedi,
even
man.
Talking about another scene memorable in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke says, "Obi-Wan, what did you tell me?" And then he says, "Leia," and like, "Hear me," and Leia says, "Luke." Oh my God, I love that scene. My hair started rising because I remember the John Williams score in that moment. Like, even like in Darth Vader, the last thing that Darth Vader says, like, "Look, it is your destiny." Ben, why did you tell me? Like, there's so many memorable things in Empire Strikes Back. Also, for me, Empire Strikes Back is an 11 for me.
Yeah.
But I love A New Hope even more.
Well, yeah, I think it's very much, for me, it could flip. Like, one day I'll like A New Hope more, one day I'll like Empire Strikes Back more. But for me, it just, the being more well-crafted just puts Empire Strikes Back over the edge for me right now.
I'm gonna reveal something. Like, for me as a kid, I like Empire more. But while I was growing up, I think I was like 17. That's when I noticed that I like A New Hope more than Empire.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And then, what was your overall thoughts then with Return of the Jedi?
I like a lot of stuff from Return of the Jedi, but the Java scene, I remember seeing Return of the Jedi a year ago when I introduced my friend to all of the Star Wars movies, because he saw with Rogue One and he wanted to see all the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we saw Return of the Jedi, I was like, the Java the Hutt scene rescuing Han, even though it's a great scene, but that's a 40-minute scene.
Yeah.
The rescue kind of was like, it would have been better like a 25-minute scene.
It does. That was another thing. Return of the Jedi, if the pacing was still okay, but it definitely felt, longer than it was for me. But I think,
and Leia with the Ewoks, that would have been cut a little also. Even though I'm not cutting the chase in the trees. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. The whole battle, like all of that stuff when the Ewoks like show up, I loved all that. That was awesome.
Yeah, and also the Emperor. Oh my god,
menacing to say the least. Like
I love him.
It's so good.
I know, like you want your weapon, strike me down with it, and your road to the dark side will be complete. Oh, I love it. I said complete.
Yeah. And I love how they got the same actor throughout the whole franchise. That helps so much.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, he slapped her when Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker started to fight, and when Darth Vader says, "If you will not turn, perhaps she will." No! And they start to fight, and I remember me crying and my jaw dropping when Luke cuts off the hand of Darth Vader, and his hand starts to move exactly like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Because as he kills him, he's gonna turn exactly like his father. Talking about the foreshadowing of the tunnel in Empire Strikes Back. For me, that's the way that I interpret that foreshadowing. It's not only because of the reveal that he's his father. For me, it's foreshadowing with the Return of the Jedi with that scene, because as he kills his father, he's gonna start becoming his father.
Yeah.
That's the way that I interpret the tunnels in Empire.
Well, no, and that's the thing. I love the whole, like, it just questions what being a Jedi really is. Because it's like, no, if you take him out and you kill him, like, nah, you're a part of us. Like, you're a dark guy. Like, to be a Jedi really is to just have peace. And sometimes you don't always win, you know? I love that.
Yeah, and also talking about special editions, I hate in Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader says no.
I will say one thing about special editions, something I love, is I like how they use Hayden Christensen as the ghost.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of problems with that one.
I like that, because it just connects the movies a lot more, and I love that. Anything that makes these all connect even more, you know, by the scenes or the characters. Like, that's why I like the guy from the prequels, the Princess Leia's father dude.
Oh, the guy from How to Get Away with Murder?
Yeah.
Senator Organa. I forget his first name.
Gal? I don't know. But I love, like, how he's even in Rogue One. Like, I just loved all of the connection stuff like that. But yeah, I gave Return of the Jedi a 9, a 90%.
Talking about, for me, perfection is 11. Return of the Jedi has a 10.
Yes.
It's not an 11.
Cool. Now this one I'm curious about, because I know you loved it a lot more than I did. Rewatching it again, I guess because you saw it back to back with Last Jedi. But yeah, The Force Awakens. How do you feel about it now after a couple years of it being out?
I still cry because I know that a lot of people always say the stupid thing, and I enjoy the discussion, but it's not a stupid rehash of A New Hope, Force Awakens.
It is not. I agree.
Like, for me, Force Awakens, when I got out from Revenge of the Sith, I was crying so much because George Lucas said that was the last thing of Star Wars. And I was crying because I was like, I'm not going to see another Star Wars movie again on the theater. And so I remember my father getting out in 2005. He said, nah, they're going to make another one. And then Disney, 7 years later, buy the rights. And then I went to my operation, and then I lost a lot of weight. In that time, in 3 years, always in my mind before my operation, I thought I was going to die in any moment. And after I lost all the weight, I was like, I could die any moment for a stupid war.
Yeah.
And so when I saw the logo,
oh my God, man,
seeing the crow,
oh my God,
I cried so much,
dude.
Because I was like, I never thought I was going to see another Star Wars movie again in the theater.
Dude, the reason I relate to that so much is because Star Wars: The Force Awakens was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I had always seen them at home and on DVD, and like I never got to experience any of the episode 2 or 3. I don't know why my parents never took me, but at those times I just never went. So for me, when I was sitting there, I was sitting next to my good friend John, and I was sitting there, and The Force Awakens is just about to start, and I remember it clear as day. When that Lucasfilm logo comes up, my feet, from like the bottom of my feet, I got the like up till my head, I got shivers that went through my whole body. And then when the logo comes up and like the scroll starts, I don't think the only time I've cried that hard in theaters was during Logan. When I saw that the Force Awakens logo, like with the scroll, and I remember another thing very vividly when it says Luke Skywalker has vanished, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing, this was just because at the time I was watching a lot of Collider and doing a lot of the speculation stuff with Christian and Mark and all the guys over there. So the very first thing I see, Luke Skywalker has vanished. The first thing that came in my head, I'm like, oh my god, that's a spoiler. But I'm like, I'm watching the movie. So then I'm like, never mind. Like, I continue watching it. I loved the opening of Force Awakens too, with Poe and with Kylo Ren's introduction. Oh my god. Like, I like The Force Awakens a lot.
For me, Kylo is Billy Bay.
Oh my,
him starting the blast.
Yep.
And talking about a thing that makes me cry in Force Awakens, I was stopping crying, and so a joke that I forgot to say before I started crying when the Lucasfilm started to appear. My sister, and like another 10 people in that showing were saying because you're accustomed to seeing the 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm sure
everybody started laughing.
Well, and I'm sure we'll get into it when we talk about our Disney Fox stuff, but like they're totally gonna release the original cuts on 4K Blu-ray probably now that Disney owns it. Like, I'm so excited to see that.
Oh, also we need to know if George Lucas is gonna release them.
I think he will. He wants money.
Well, and also going back to Force Awakens, when Maz von Sydow says the general, when Poe says the general really needed this, and says general, for me it was royalty. I was like, oh my god, they're representing Leia. I was starting crying.
Man,
when Kylo stops the blast, and then when Maz von Sydow says, you can never deny what is your family. And I'm like, he's Han Solo's kid. Like, for me, because I'm a super Star Wars geek.
Jason
I needed a reveal. I knew that Kylo Ren was Han Solo's kid.
Yeah.
When Maz von Sydow says that, I was like, oh my god, I was crying. And then when Maz von starts to doubting the stormtroopers and everybody getting killed.
Yeah.
And I love so many shots of the movie. I love seeing Rey going through the spaceship and then going back to Jakku to sell and
14 portions. Like, I loved Simon Pegg, his role. Yeah, one quarter portion. The other scene that I'm thinking of right away that I loved in the beginning of The Force Awakens, I love when Finn is escaping. And him and Poe.
I need a pilot.
Yeah, I love all that. The only part of The Force Awakens that, rewatching it, that I was kind of iffy about, I don't. It's weird seeing Harrison Ford. For me, I don't like. He was great in the movie, but like watching his death again and stuff, it was just like.
Oh, his death was totally predictable.
It is, especially like soon as they get out, like soon as he's like, "Hey, Chewie, let's separate." I'm like, "Come on."
Yeah,
but I still like Force Awakens so much.
The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, are they gonna kill Han?" And then when he reveals the name Ben, that was a surprise for me.
That was cool.
Because I was like, Ben Solo. Wow, they named the kid after Ben Kenobi. Why didn't call him Obi-Wan? Obi-Wan Solo would have sounded cooler.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
But I know that Han and Leia met Obi-Wan as Ben.
Yeah.
I know they're making the reference to the original trilogy, but when talking another scene, a lot of people, I remember that a lot of people got surprised and even cried when Han Solo died. I was like, I don't know why you're crying. This was predictable for me. I was talking to a lot of people about that. For me, the scene that I cried is when Kylo Ren talks to Darth Vader.
Yeah. That's a great scene.
Troy?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard the Skype sound like you were calling me.
Oh.
Okay.
No, we're good.
Back. And so when Kylo says, I feel it again, the pull to the light. Show me again the power of the darkness. And nothing will stand in my way. Show me again, grandfather. When he started talking, he says the pull to the light, was like he's talking to Darth Vader. And he says, show me again, grandfather. And now I'm getting a tear right now, and I will finish when you started. And seeing the helmet, I was like, oh my god. I was so much in that scene.
Yeah.
And I also cried so much when Rey touches the lightsaber and you see all those flashes, and then you hear Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor's.
Yep. I love that.
I was a wreck in that moment.
I love that.
Also, the other scene that I cried is because I love Kylo so much, and so when Kylo tries to reach the lightsaber, and
it flies right past him, yeah.
When Rey catches the lightsaber and you hear the Leia theme, I was like, oh my god. At first, my first thought was like, you bitch, that's Kylo's lightsaber. But my second thing, I was like, yeah, she deserves to have the lightsaber. And I was like, that was a jaw-dropping moment for me, because I was like, wow, she's a Jedi.
Yeah, and the only other scene that like I actually really don't like in The Force Awakens, and it kind of left a very sour taste in my mouth after watching it again. I hate, and like, I know I don't usually like get into storyline stuff about like why I don't like a movie, but like when they arrive after Han dies and Leia walks right past Chewie and walks right to Rey, that like really bugged me. Cause I was like watching all of the movies. I'm like, Leia should have just, because they walk right by each other. If they hadn't been in the same, if they hadn't, like that would have been fine. But the fact that he just walks right by her and they don't even talk or anything, it was just, I mean, they go into Chewie being sad afterwards, but yeah, it bugged me. I didn't like that.
And also, I love everything from Force Awakens. When I rewatch it on Tuesday, I was crying in a lot of moments.
That's awesome.
I was crying at the end, seeing Rey extending the lightsaber.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Luke. Like,
I mean,
and now
he just has to fucking throw it.
Last Jedi.
Okay, all right, man. Here we go. Okay, so I think we should just start off by saying that. Oh, by the way, I gave The Force Awakens 80%. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
For me,
I still love it. Like, it's a great film, but
11 for me.
Yeah, that's cool. But no, man. Oh, The Last Jedi is one of the best Star Wars movies. I fucking love it so much. Like, I know it's controversial. Like, this movie has been getting. It's weird, man. There's so much to talk about. I don't know where to start.
I get the controversy.
Here's the thing.
There's some things that bother me, but I'm not bitching like a lot of people are bitching right now.
I think the reason I love The Last Jedi so much is the entire movie literally is a middle finger to Star Wars fans.
That's true.
Because not only that, but Rose, her character, if you watch the movie and you pretend that she's a metaphor for Star Wars fans, and how fucking like erratic and like, I don't know, the whole movie, Rian Johnson to me is just like setting up Rey's parents, and by the way, yeah, for this we are going to be going into like huge spoilers and stuff, so like I mentioned earlier.
You were cutting a little.
Yeah, sorry, I was just waiting for all the noise to end. I'm gonna edit a lot of this, but no, I mean going into a lot of the spoilers. Let's start at the beginning of the film.
No.
Why don't we just start at the beginning? We'll go through the opening. I love the shot of the camera going past the ship down the pods, and then we're introduced to Billy, Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord. She's the girl in that scene. I love that whole sequence with Poe. With Poe and with the dialogue between him and Hux. I thought that was hilarious.
Yes.
I loved, and I don't know if you caught this or if you read it, but BB-8 in that scene is the one that says, "I have a bad feeling about this."
Huh?
Yeah, Ryan Johnson came out in an interview.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just read that because in the whole movie, we have a bad feeling about this. It's never really said. But yeah, BB-8 is the one that says it in The Last Jedi, which I found interesting. But the whole beginning with Rose's sister and the bombs falling, that was so emotional, man. That was so great.
Oh, I like the shot when you seen the Rose sister with the eye
through the gate. Yeah,
I like that shot.
That's another thing. The Last Jedi is one of the most beautiful looking Star Wars films. Talking about the direction and cinematography, I think it blew me away. Some of the shots they got, especially
the first scene, the introduction, to see. It's a great scene.
Yeah.
Now we go to a scene that I like, but at the same time I hate. The scene of Rey giving the lightsaber to Luke.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was very taken off. It definitely, it was weird. That's the thing. The comedy in this movie. I thought it was funny, but it was just weird seeing it in a Star Wars film.
Yeah, because for me, because I saw Force Awakens back to back, because when you see it, I remember the first time I saw that scene in Force Awakens, you see in Luke's eyes, who are you?
Yeah.
Why are you here? Why do you bring this pain back to me? You see in his eyes, and you see in Rey, I just saw Han Solo die in front of my eyes. I don't know what's the powers that I have. You see the struggles in the eyes.
Yeah.
And that scene is totally ruined when he's fuck it. And he throws the lightsaber away.
Yeah, I can see that.
The first time I saw it, I was like, they destroyed that scene completely.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Brandon because we saw it yesterday again.
Yeah.
And I admired the Ryan Johnson's choice of the Luke and Rey scene not to be the first scene in this new movie.
Yeah, agreed.
Because a lot of people would have started bitching about the movie if that would have been the first scene.
People bitched about this movie
and
so much either way. But yeah.
The second time I saw it in a different point of view. When Luke throws the lightsaber, he's like, this lightsaber brought me a lot of pain. It represents the pain that I had when I was younger and I lost my hand because of this lightsaber. So when he throws it away, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it in that point of view. But the first time I saw it, I got pissed.
Yeah, it was weird. It definitely, it made me, and that's what I kind of like about it. It definitely, if you didn't like that throw, I think you're not going to like the movie. Because it really sets the tone for the entire film. True. But yeah, I just because I saw it.
Let's go next scene.
Yes.
The next scene is when Rey goes to Luke to his cabin, and then Luke says go away, and then we goes with Chewbacca, and then he says what happened to Han.
Yeah, that was great. I love that whole.
That was a good scene.
I like that scene a lot.
I like talking about, I don't know how Star Wars fans responded to this scene, but when Snoke says to Kylo, take the ridiculous mask off.
That was fucking.
First,
I love that.
For me, as a Kylo believer, and everything was like, his mask is beautiful, asshole. But another part of me, I was like, okay, I get it. I know that a lot of people always criticize his mask and also his voice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm okay with that moment. And seeing him, like seeing Snoke, like throwing the lightning against Kylo, and then Kylo destroying the mask in the elevator.
Yeah.
I really like that scene. The next scene is the introduction to Rose, right?
Yes. And like I was mentioning, I
No, wait.
Oh, wait.
No. The next scene is seeing Rey seeing the daily routine of
with the caretakers.
No, we skipped that scene. Is seeing Rey seeing Luke Skywalker like getting a fish.
Oh, that was awesome.
Getting milk with those big dinosaurs
with the boobies. That was cool. I like that. I liked seeing him with the fish. That was awesome.
And then it's the Chewbacca scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the next scene is them when Leia slaps Poe, all of the people that died because of the first scene or the first attack.
That was really cool too, because it totally was his fault.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I don't know the order of everything 100%, but
yeah, for me, even though I have seen the movie 4 times, I'm getting confused in some scenes.
I don't know. Here, why don't we, let's just like
next scene?
Yeah.
We're still talking in order, but we're going like to important scenes. Like the next scene that is goes to is when they notice that the Force Order can track them in light speed.
That was cool.
And then we go to a lot of people. I didn't care even the first time, but a lot of people bitch about this scene when Kylo didn't decide to kill Leia.
Oh yes, okay.
And one of the TIE fighters shoots the bridge, and then you see Leia floating, and by the Force, she starts floating back to the ship. A lot of people didn't like how she survived in space. A lot of people say that she was flying. For me, no, she's floating in space, and she used the Force to go back floating back into the ship. She wasn't flying. If she was flying, she would have fly faster.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a few things about this scene. The first thing is I want to just like, did you hear Christian's alternative to this scene on Collider Jedi?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what he pitched an alternative to this scene, which I actually like a lot more than what happened, and he pitched to do it very much like the Spider-Man scene, where all the concrete and stuff's on him. And then have Leia see all of like Admiral Akbar dead, see all the people around her, and then break out using the Force that way. But what I think is super integral about this scene is the fact that it shows that Leia is one of the strongest Force users in all of Star Wars history. And I say that because of one thing, and the fact that I believe that. So and you've seen it 4 times, right? So you can correct me if I'm wrong. But how I understood it is she dies from the explosion, and with her Force powers, like how Anakin was going on in the prequels, she brought herself back to life. Like I think it was showing Leia be as powerful as Luke Skywalker, especially because there's I don't know if this was in one of the movies or if it was like a book, but I remember Ken Napzok saying that like Yoda originally wanted to train Leia.
Yeah.
So for me, all of it just was like, oh my god, Leia, like this was the scene to show that, like, I mean, obviously we're never going to see Leia again in a movie, unfortunately, because, you know, Carrie Fisher passed away, and it's sad, but this was her scene to say, like, no, like I think she was the Neville Longbottom of the Star Wars franchise. if that makes any sense. Like, he was the... Like, I think she was the one that could have saved it all and just never got the chance to.
Yeah, and so for me, that scene I really like.
Yeah.
I don't know what many Star Wars fans
It is
hate
weird,
that
though.
scene.
Because it is bizarre seeing her float through, and, like, it is kind of off-putting.
Well,
I think.
there's a lot of things that didn't a lot of Star Wars fans like, because that's the thing that I like. Every time that you see a new Star Wars movie, an episode, you see different sides of the
Yes.
Force.
Yeah.
That the Force is very different. And so, that's the way that Leia could manipulate the Force for her benefit in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
so
that scene.
For me, I see it as a great scene. Talking about, we did this before we started recording, but I have a theory because this is the next thing when Rey starts talking to Luke and says, when the first lesson that she gives to Rey, and then Rey says, but I didn't see you in my first vision. So you're not using the Force. And then Luke admits that he hasn't used the Force. And so my theory, I was talking to Brandon, what if the Force, they can share it because they're twins? And so when Luke decide to not use the Force, that's why Leia could use his part of the Force to survive in that moment, in that scene.
That is very interesting. I like
That's
that.
my theory because of their twins.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. Huh.
Because after that, Luke starts to test himself that he's getting his group back, getting the Force back.
Yeah.
And so he started to getting the Force back before the Leia scene. Leia wouldn't have survived. I know that
that's amazing.
The Force is different, and everybody has theories.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but I like that a lot.
Why Ryan Johnson put out that scene in that moment.
Yeah. That's awesome. I buy that 100%. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the...
Yeah.
Now is it the Rose introduction scene?
Yes, now the Rose introduction scene.
I like
Rose in that moment.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, so what was her official job, though? Was she just a mechanic, like an engineer?
Yeah.
Then I question, how did she know how to ride one of those drive that machine at the end when she runs into Finn?
She's a mechanic, Troy. A mechanic has to know that ship or...
Yeah. Okay,
so
no.
She has to know.
Okay, good. All right. No, that's fair. Yeah. All right. That answers my question.
It's like you say like a real life mechanic only fixes cars, but he never knew how to drive one. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a good point. I am just stupid. So yeah, that was a cool scene.
Hey, no. That's a point that you need. Ridiculous. It's a lot of people don't see that.
Well, no, I just didn't see. Yeah, no, like I want to watch obviously the movie again to catch to remember a lot of it too. But yeah, no, Rose's character I liked a lot. The actress that plays her. I was reading.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, I was reading articles. Like, she would actually go around. She helped put the feathers in the porgs. Like, she would go around the set and actually play around and like help out. Like, she wasn't just the act. Like, she was actually very much a big fan of Star Wars, which is awesome.
Now, talking about the porgs, a scene that I skipped when Luke throws the lightsaber away and you see the first porg scene. Brandon, before we got in, that was my third time yesterday seeing the movie. He says, look that scene a little more further because you can see that one porg is seen through the lightsaber and another porg is trying to set the button to the lightsaber to ignite. And I'm like, that porg is sadistic. And so when I saw it yesterday and tomorrow, I was like, oh, now I see it. One porg wanted to kill the other porg.
I like the scene with, I don't know when it was, but the scene with Chewbacca and the porg.
Yes!
I fucking love that. That was a funny scene.
No, that was one of the funniest scenes. I think it's one of the top 5 Chewbacca scenes in the whole saga.
Agreed.
like seeing the porks reacting to the fire, seeing the other pork getting roasted, and the other pork like crying, like don't do it, don't do it. You can see it in his eyes, and Chewbacca like, fuck you, I'm hungry.
I heard. I also I read that they add because there were reshoots for Episode 8, as there are for every film. But I heard that was added in because of the whole Porg Nation thing.
Oh yeah.
Like because of the how big the Porg army became online, that they wanted to add in that scene to like the whole time Rian Johnson is just punching the face of Star Wars fans, and I think that it would explain if they added that in, especially afterwards. Like, yeah, and let's show that Chewbacca cook up a Porg. Like, that's great.
For me, even though I love the pork, but I was like, Chewbacca is hungry. I don't care.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. Like, now put it this way: Chewbacca cooked this Porg. Like, he's already dead. Now it's just gonna be a dead Porg sitting on the ground. He should have just ate it.
Mm-hmm. He ate it.
He did. Yeah, he picked it up. He picked it up and ate it.
Yeah, like the pork left, and Chewbacca bring his hot sauce and his mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese, and he ate that pork.
So what was the next scene?
Ooh.
Or one of the...
Talking about other scene, like, going in order, I like the scene, like, the second lesson when Luke says, now you know, like, the Jedi at the heart of the powers, they didn't notice that Darth Sidious rise, and they started the Empire, and the Jedi was responsible for the creation of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then Rey says, but then there was a person, a Jedi, that saw the good in him and redeemed Darth Vader. And then he says, and then I become a legend. Like, that scene is a whole recap of all the 6 episodes in 6 lines.
Yeah, I love.
And also, a lot of people see it, and I also see it that way. He redeemed the prequels in that sentence.
Yeah, I agree.
The next scene that I want to talk about is the casino scene.
Yes, I do want to talk about this.
For me, the first time I saw it, like the first part of the casino scene, I like it seeing everybody getting rich and like seeing that everybody enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
The part of the casino scene that I don't like is those damn horses.
See, and like that's what's funny. So like, I remember I had like, what did I have before the movie? I remember drinking. I think I had a whole bunch of pop or something before seeing The Last Jedi. I don't remember, but I had to pee throughout the whole beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that at the back of my mind. So like when Finn and Rose like are about to break out the Harry Potter horses, like that's when I was like, you know what, this feels like I love the casino. Like I loved the whole intro with it with Justin Theroux and like Benicio del Toro. Like I thought that was cool. In when they find him in jail. Or when he's in the jail cell. But, like, yeah, I went pee when they were going to break out. And then I came back in the theater when they were on the beach. When they were, like, going, you know.
So,
through.
You didn't see the kid?
No.
Okay, you didn't miss that much. Like, you see Finn and Rose getting down to the tunnel. And then Finn is almost near to some shit from those horses.
Oh.
He didn't touch it, but he was very near. I was like, thank God they didn't dare. And then you see Rose seeing the horses and opens one of the stables and you see the kid. I don't know, I'm going to say only the broom kid. And I'm pointing a little ahead. And then he sees this kid trying to activate the alarm and says, no, we're with the rebellion. And so that's the scene that she gave the ring to that kid.
Oh, okay. I was confused by that at the end. So that makes sense then.
And then they release the horses. Then as the chase starts to happen, and that's when you join back into the movie when you see them releasing the last horse, and then you see Benicio del Toro and BB-8 with the ship.
That was cool. I like that.
For me, I didn't like Benicio del Toro's character at all.
No?
He's one... No.
Okay. I
For
didn't
me,
mind him. I just thought it was cool seeing Benicio del Toro in a Star Wars film.
That's true. Like seeing a Latino actor, that was cool. But his character was so predictable. You knew since the first minute that he was gonna betray them.
Yeah, well, he was. He reminded me very much of. I don't know if this is a common thing, but he reminded me kind of like a Lando.
Yeah. And even I said to Brandon yesterday, he's a Latino Lando.
Okay, and that's like one of my biggest predictions going into the last Jedi was that Lando was gonna be in it. Like that, I was convinced that I thought Lando was gonna make an appearance. That was a big surprise. So the whole time when Maz Kanata is like, yeah, go find the code breaker and stuff, I thought that should have been Lando. Justin Theroux, like he wasn't even given anything to do. That should have just been a Lando cameo.
When you just said that thing when C-3PO says, "Whoa, that guy can do anything," and Maz Kanata, yes. Can do anything. Like Lando, the way that he was a womanizer,
exactly,
that would make more sense.
That's what I thought, and then like especially because they don't give Justin Theroux anything to do other than that one scene. So it was the perfect. It would have been perfect to have Lando sit there and the exact same thing. Oh, they walk up, they get pushed aside, do the exactly like they did. But I don't know. I do you think Lando's gonna be in the next one? I think they have to get him now.
Yeah, but Brandon said an interesting thing, but he said, but he wouldn't make a lot of sense in the casino scene, talking about timeline-wise, because Lando, he's not the same womanizer and player as he was in Empire compared to Return of the Jedi. So going back to his old ways in Episode 8 wouldn't make a lot of sense.
That's a good point, because he very much takes the leadership role.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's true. I see your point in that. It wouldn't make a lot of sense in the casino scene. I do. Talking back about Benicio del Toro, I do like the scene though when like he's with the Resistance after Finn and Rose are captured, and like they let him go off. I thought that was cool. I'm like, hey, that dude's just doing what's best for him. I still didn't like his character at all.
No, that's fair though.
The only thing that I like from him is when they're in the ship and says, "Let's see who this ship was from," and it was a guy that sell weapons to the First Order and the Resistance. That was the only scene that I liked from him, and also when he takes the Rose's necklace.
That was cool too. I liked how he ends up like being like, "Oh, it's magnetic" or whatever he says.
Talking about Rian Johnson giving a middle finger to Star Wars fans. That's the thing that I hated. I don't hate Rian Johnson for it, but that's why I didn't like Benicio del Toro's character, because a lot of people were making theories about his character.
Well, they thought he was what's his name? Ezra, yeah.
And even myself was thinking that he was Ezra. Oh, I was thinking that he was like someone that Han Solo knew from the past.
And his name's TJ, right? DJ. Yeah,
and he even in the movie he never says his name.
No, I think he has a name tag though, or something on his hat that says.
But it's in another language, but it doesn't say the name.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that.
But yeah, the next scene. What's the next scene?
Okay, when I don't know if this is the next scene, but the scene, like my favorite scene in the movie, I think it's near the middle. That's the Laura Dean. Or Laura Dern scene when she goes into hyperspeed.
No, that's almost at the end.
Oh, is that near the end? Oh, that's my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites also. No, going in order is when Laura Dern takes the place of Leia.
Oh, yes.
Leia's in a coma.
That's like her introduction. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked her character.
Laura Dern, the first time I saw it, I didn't like her character.
Okay.
But then going again, seeing it again and again and again, I like Laura Dern's character, but she's not a perfect character for me.
Okay.
Like, I think I don't remember who said it. I think that Dan Murr said it, or I think it was Kristen or Ken Knapsack.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar should have died in the Laura Dern scene when she goes into hyperspace to destroy the other First Order ships.
Yeah.
Because Admiral Akbar died so suddenly.
Could you imagine though? Like I'm going to steal this from Bobby Monahan from SNL because he said it. But could you imagine before Akbar dying, he'd been like, oh no, it's a, oh crap, and then dies. That would be amazing. It's a, oh crap, and then die. That would be cool. I don't know. He was. It sucks that we didn't get a moment with him because he's such an iconic character.
Yeah, and so, yeah, when she gets introduced and everything, I like Larry's character. I would have liked to know more about her, and that's the thing that I hate because I remember Ken Nelson saying in Jedi Council months ago that she's mentioned in a Leia novel.
In the
that is tied for the Last Jedi.
Yeah, and it's funny because in the one of the spoiler reviews, Perry Nemiroff, she loves that character in the books, and apparently she's very like Luna Lovegood. She's very quirky, so that in the movie, you know, she's obviously not like that. So they do definitely do some changes.
And I heard a rumor that her character is gay.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't remember that was stated in the books or not, but I remembered hearing that her character was gay.
Huh. Oh, and that was another thing, by the way. I mean, like, talking about just the overall feel of this film, don't you think it's funny that Rian Johnson made a better Star Trek Star Wars movie than J.J. Abrams did? Because this movie, to me, felt like a Star Trek movie. I know that might sound... Did you feel that? Having the two ships, and then having them always being retreat... Like, to me, it felt very, like, plot-wise of a Star Trek film.
Interesting.
So I thought that was just funny. Like, for me, I saw that right away, whereas, like, J.J. made more of a Star Wars film than Rian Johnson did.
Interesting point.
But yeah, I don't know. What was the next scene? Yeah, I know I kind of went off of.
Yeah, because we're gonna go in like a really long. We're like trying to say scene to scene, but the next important scene is the flashback.
Okay. Yes. With Kylo.
Yes.
This was cool. I like this because it kind of shows you that like Luke was. It's interesting. What The Last Jedi does is it really just shows you the entire arc of Luke Skywalker, right? Now we know from the beginning to the end. Kind of, right? Because I think in Episode 9, he's going to come back very much as, like, a huge Force ghost. Spoilers. Like, I think he'll be very prominent in Episode 9. But I love...
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a ghost.
Oh, yeah. But, like, I think he's going to guide Rey through that entire film. But I think seeing his whole... How, like, he just... He it's funny. He really, like, seeing how you were mentioning when we were talking about Empire Strikes Back, and the fact that if he were to kill his father, he would become like his father. Mm-hmm. And it's just so cool to see that theme kind of stick and play.
Yeah, because you seen in Luke that was like, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Imagine he would have killed his own nephew. I have a feeling, talking about Rian Johnson, that he had an hour to cut. I have a feeling there was like a 10-minute scene of seeing only the Jedi Academy.
And I feel like they did stuff with the Knight of Ren that we just didn't see yet. That will probably get explained next film.
I wanted to see the Knights of Ren, and we didn't see a thing in this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's alluded to when he says that he took a couple of the Jedi Knights with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I think that's alluding to them becoming the Knights of Ren with him. But yeah, it's definitely stuff I think we're gonna see. I hope.
I wanted to see Kylo honoring his grandfather and killing children, because you only see the bodies, but I wanted to see him killing children.
We here on the Monday show, we support child death in movies.
Yes.
Okay, so we have that. The flashback scene was cool. I like that. What was the...
Oh. Yeah, let's try like to go fast with the important scenes.
Yeah, so...
The multiple rays.
That was cool.
Scene.
So you've seen this 4 times now. Like, what's your perspective on the whole mirror image with her parents? And then ends up being her. What do you kind of...
I told you before we pre-record.
Yeah.
But the first time I saw it, the first time when you seen all the multiple rays, I was like, oh my gosh, she's a clone. I thought that she was a clone. Like in The Force Unleashed, that Darth Vader had a lot of apprentices, but then he cloned that same apprentice a lot of times. And so I was like, what if Kylo Ren created Rey but she's like Rey number 10, and this was the Rey that rebelled.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And so the first time I saw this, I was like, yeah, she's a clone. And then, well, when she says, I want to see my parents, I noticed this the first time, and then all the other times that I saw it, you see two shadows. That's not a shadow of a man and a woman. Those are two men adopted by two drunk people. They were a gay couple, but they were the drunk people, and then they sell her off for more alcohol.
That's what I loved about the reveal. I mean, and that's kind of skipping forward a little bit with when can we actually just go to the throne room scene? Is that soon?
Yeah, that's the next scene.
I don't even know where to begin with this. There was so much, with Snoke dying, and then with the turn of Kylo Ren. Like, how did you feel about that whole sequence?
Oh no, my jaw dropped when Kylo kills Snoke. I didn't expect that at all.
Oh, no.
And then when they started to fight, when Rey touches the lightsaber, exactly when Snoke cuts in half, like everybody in the theater started clapping.
Yeah. It
was... That was a cheer moment, and that scene, that cinematography, the production design, the color of it, like the samurais, like the music, that scene was perfect. Kylo Ren and Rey fighting the samurais.
Oh, it was amazing. And then that's the thing. So he kills Snoke, and pretty much says, "Hey Rey, like let's do this. Me and you, let's take over the galaxy." Like that whole sequence. Like, oh man, I get shivers just thinking about it.
And like I mentioned before, the machine stopped recording. Kylo, he's redeeming the prequels the way that he says, "Join me, Rey, and you and I can we can rule the galaxy in our own way." It's exactly like Anakin said to Padme, "You can I rule the galaxy, make it the way that we want it to be."
Yeah, I love that. I mean, there's a part of me that really wish that Rey would have said yes. I think that would have been interesting to see and thinking back, like when we were talking about it earlier, like you even in the trailer, you thought that they had spoiled Rey joining Kylo. Mm-hmm. I think there's a part of me that would have loved to see that, but
yeah, and also I have a feeling that Rian Johnson, he was careful with the marketing thing, exactly like JJ.
Well, and like you were telling a story too about like him handing out
the sticker.
Yeah.
Because Rian Johnson, he was signing a lot of things from The Last Jedi in celebration, but he put out on his Instagram that the thing that he loved the most was your Snoke Theory Sucks sticker. And that's the thing that he loved the most, that he put out on Instagram, on Twitter, and everything.
That's awesome.
And so I'm like, oh, you were already foreshadowing.
See, and I hope
Snoke was a red herring.
See, and I hope they do explain some of what his character is in Episode 9, because we still don't know anything. Like, we just know this dude came and, like, I read an article that the ring or something he has was actually formed from beneath Darth Vader's lair, like his tower thing. So that there's kind of a connection with Snoke and Vader, but I do want more of an explanation, definitely, for that.
No, and also a scene that we skipped when Rey and Kylo start doing the sky call to the Force.
Yeah.
And when Kylo, he's shirtless, and Rey says, "Put something on," and now...
Oh my god, dude. That dude is so buff.
Yes.
He looks so good.
And I'm like, I said to Rey, "Hey, bitch, like, oh my god, I will totally join." Like... And like Brandon said, like, "Hey, we have Hilker."
And that's the thing, the whole Skype call thing, I loved that. How Snoke was, like, behind it. Like, he knew that Kylo and Rey would bounce off of each other because of how, for lack of a better word, how insecure both of them are.
And also, when Kylo even says I think in one of the first ones, he says, "Wait, if you can do this, you will be started dying because you don't have that kind of power yet.
And I think he also mentions, he's like, hey, can you... I love the scene where he's like, hey, can you see me?
Because I can see you, but not your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
I like the specific of that. Because the Sky Code thing has been set up also in the original trilogy. The thing that just said in Empire Strikes Back, Luke says, Leia, hear me, Leia. And Leia says, Luke. That's a Sky Code on the Force.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was set up before a lot of Star Wars fans started to bitch about that scene also in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I loved... And so what point of the movie? Is this like halfway through the movie where Snoke dies? Or
it's almost halfway. It's like after the halfway point.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes later.
Because then that leads in... See, I want to talk about Yoda.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that we skipped. This is before Snoke.
Is it? Okay, because I fucking loved seeing Yoda again.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch originally that Rey had taken those books out of the tree?
No. Because the first time when you see her like going to the little ship when Chewbacca drops her off in the Snoke ship,
yes,
you see the books in the drawer. The first time I didn't catch them. I caught them in the first time when Finn opens the drawer
to get the jacket,
the
right?
Books and gets the blanket for
blanket,
Rose.
yes, yeah.
But the first time that they showed us that she had the books, I didn't catch it until the second time.
And I just love that, like I was mentioning before, how like Yoda was so crazy. He was a crazy old like creature in Episode 5, and the fact that they brought that Yoda back.
And Frank Oz also.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I got kind of shivers just thinking that, you know, that Frank Oz and Mark Hamill were both on set together again. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, after almost 40 years.
Yeah, and I love the puppet. It looked weird at first, but it definitely grows on you throughout the scene.
Oh, talking about another scene that the Star Wars fans bitch about, because me and Brandon, I didn't know nothing about social media.
Yeah.
About how people were reacting. A lot of Star Wars fans are bitching how Yoda, being a ghost, could manipulate the Force to set fire to the tree.
Huh. Well, but
and
that's
I'm
the thing.
like,
what The Last Jedi did so well is it showed us more ways the Force can be used.
And I'm like, I don't have nothing against that, because Obi-Wan can talk to Luke as a ghost, and like even say, Luke, like see you don't need the helper screen when he needed to do the turns run, or like in Empire Strikes Back, like he hears him before seeing him.
Yeah.
And so the Force can be manipulated in so many different ways. Like in even Revenge of the Sith, when Yoda says, I have been contacted by Qui-Gon, and I'm gonna teach you how to talk to him. And so the Force has a different evolution. Like everybody can manipulate the Force in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So because Yoda is one of the most powerful Jedis, that's why I think that the Force responds to him, even though he's dead. He can manipulate the Force in our world, in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm okay with it. I don't know why many people are hating that scene.
Well, and like I said, I just love how like his laugh and how wonky that he plays again. I just love that so much. That just added for me an extra layer to it. But I love that scene.
Yeah.
So then, so is after the throne scene, what's the kind of the next big? Was that the Lord?
We already mentioned that Kylo says like, no, your parents were so pair of drunks.
Yeah, which I loved.
Yeah. Before, when Rey starts crying, and before she says that she already knew, like those 10 seconds for me, the first time I saw it was like, if she says, yes, I know, brother, or yes, I know, cousin, and I'm like, I'm gonna lit this theater on fire, because I don't want Rey to be a Skywalker.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was a little sad because there was the other theories that Rey was created by Snow, or that Rey was Palpatine's daughter, or my theory that Rey was Vader reincarnated, and so
Which I think very much still could be the case.
it could be, and so but at the same time, I'm happy with it, and I can see the point. Like did you just said, like Ryan Johnson not even caring about the Star Wars fans, like giving a middle finger,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the other thing. I think it also relates for me. Let's say like for me with Pretty Little Liars, I had so many expectations and so many theories in my head, and the real answer, it was horrible for me because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't it doesn't go through with the storylines of the show, and I would have written a better version of those reveals. Also because the writer is she's a stupid writer that she only cared about the romance. But Ryan Johnson, he said, I know that a lot of you have these expectations, but this is the way that I'm gonna treat the story for me.
I
Because I'm the captain. I'm the captain now. And so he was doing his job.
I was talking to I don't remember who, one of my buddies about it. The the only other movie that The Last Jedi reminded me of this year is Blade Runner 2049. And it was for one reason only. It very much felt like it was auteur directors that were given a franchise and told, do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, Star Wars The Last Jedi is very much a really good trailer for what Ryan Johnson's trilogy is going to be like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because I have a theory about that also.
Do you think it's going to be the Broom Kid?
Yes.
Because that would be amazing. But yeah,
that
I don't know.
would redeem the casino scene.
Oh, that would be great. So yeah, no, there's the Yoda scene, and then let's talk about the Laura Dern sacrifice scene.
Oh,
This scene for me is my favorite scene of the entire movie, which I mentioned.
even though I have a little nitpick with that scene.
Okay.
Even though it's a great scene, but when Laura Dern finally decides to do that, from 11 ships that sail away from the main shuttle, she waited until the First Order destroyed 7 of them.
That's a
And
good.
I'm
I
like-
didn't. Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, if you were brave enough, you have done this scene at the second or third one.
Yeah,
Not
that's
wait
a good
until
point.
like 700 people already died.
That's a very good point. Because I didn't realize.
That's my
that
only
either.
nitpick with that scene, even though I love it.
So the 4 times did you see it? Each time that the thing goes through and it goes complete silent, do you hear the audience gasp?
Yes.
Because for my screening, it definitely did. Everyone was like, "You heard it," and then that's that scene of it was so beautiful, man. It's probably it is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Just how it looked, the cinematography of it, it was so beautiful and tragic.
No. My favorite scene of the movie hasn't come out yet.
So what was after the so after the spaceship goes they all go to that planet that
Phasma.
fuck Phasma.
Ridiculous death.
Yeah, I love Gwendolyn Christie, I think is her name. I love the actress. She's great in Game of Thrones, which I've never seen. But she was so useless. They tried to make her Boba Fett, and they made her just she was pointless.
She was more useless than Boba Fett
Yeah.
and Jango Fett together.
To be fair, though, it would be nice to say, hey, I was in a Star Wars film and have nobody know. Because I don't even think like, for a regular person that didn't know it was Gwendolyn Christie, even when you see her eye, like, you never really see her.
Yeah, like, for me, like, remember my prediction was that Phasma killed Finn.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a badass scene. But when Phasma died, I was like, that was it? I thought that Phasma was coming to die in 9. Another jaw, that's not jaw dropping, but it was like going against my expectations. because I thought they were also going to reserve Phasma to the last one.
Yeah.
And so when Phasma died, it was like, okay, she was useless. So for me, it was okay. But at the same time, she was a useless character.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And
she was only there to. Actually, she was. There was no like. What was the point even in the Force Awakens other than to have?
she was the one that taught Finn to be a stormtrooper. That was her only
That's all.
purpose.
Yeah, I know it's weird, but I don't know. It was. I'm glad that they just got rid of her character. Then we don't have to worry about her in the future. But yeah.
I think I think that Star Wars fans are even on trailers. Her character was only there to sell toys.
Just like the Porgs.
Yeah. Hey, the Force were important.
Hey, the Porgs are actually Snoke.
Yes.
So there's that scene with Laura Dern that was great. So then all the ships, the rest of the Resistance that escaped, they go to that that Resistance or the base that was abandoned.
Yeah, the Salt Planet.
Yes, the planet that was Hoth without the snow.
Yes.
So this whole sequence I loved. Now I want to hear your take on the last part of the movie.
Oh, we're gonna go there.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me hear what you think, because I have I liked it, but I have a pitch for how it could have been better. So I'm just curious to know what you think.
For me, oh my god, like, there's a part that I hate about that scene. Like, we're gonna say like the whole thing.
Yeah.
They said like they started to go in those stupid weird ships against the new ATSTs, and so then when Finn goes through the cannon, that was the perfect moment.
I wanted him to
for
die.
Finn to die.
Yeah.
Yes.
He should have.
That was the perfect moment. That was the end of his story arc.
And
he
honestly,
killed Phasma.
Well, and I honestly thought that, like, with him being in Pacific Rim, and with him being in all these other movies, I thought that, oh shit, like, yeah, he's gonna die right now, because I was like, he's gonna be in other franchises. So I was surprised. With when Rose kind of just was like, no, screw you, I love you so much. I didn't hate this.
This is the worst romance that Padme and Anakin.
But here's the thing, it's not a romance. That's what I think a lot of people are mistaken. Like, I honestly, like, I reading reviews afterwards, everyone's like, oh, the romance between, you know, Finn and Rose, it's just like, I didn't look at, the whole time, I looked at it as if I was on an adventure with, like, Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, someone I admire. I fucking love Jake Gyllenhaal. I love Ryan Gosling. Like, there's, like, people I can imagine working with. So for me, Rose's character was very much like, she was just a fan.
That's true. Even my mother said, like, nah, she kissed him, but you can notice that Finn didn't like that kiss.
Well, no, and I don't think it was, and that's the thing, it's like Finn never ever thought of Rose as a romantic interest, and I don't think Rose ever, I'm sure maybe Rose had a crush on Finn, but I think it was more of like, she's his hero, or he's her hero.
I just imagine a deleted scene of the room of Rose and her sister, and with a poster with Finn
on the wall in the bikini. Yeah,
running in Jakku with Rey, and I'm like, oh, I only love this part of this photo. He only says Finn because of Rey, and he's put out her face like Mrs. Finn.
Yeah, but no, that was the thing. I didn't see it as a romance relation or like a romantic relationship. I just saw it more of her looking up to him as that icon, that famous person that she grew up aspiring to be.
Also, I would have killed Rose in that moment. When she defends him in the cannon, that was the perfect moment to kill her.
One of them should have died, for sure, I think.
Yes.
So then after that happens, we cut to inside of the place, and like, let's just talk about it. We have Luke show up.
Yeah. And talks to Leia.
That was beautiful.
That was a beautiful scene. And then he walks, and I love when Kylo says, I want every single firearm
yep.
directed to that man. and like seeing the whole thing, and then I was like, look, he's gonna survive that. I was like, and then when he's doing like throwing the dust off his shoulder, and he's like, bitch, please. Like, you can see, bitch, your move. And Kylo's like, oh.
Well, and that's the thing. So, okay, yeah. So anyway, we'll keep going. But I do have an alternative to this Luke part.
Oh yeah, wait for it. And so then they start to fight, and then like you see you see Luke doing the Matrix thing like Neo. When they start to fight, and then Kylo says, "I will have killed the last Jedi." Then Luke says, "No, the rebellion is gonna reborn, and I will not be the last Jedi." And then when Kylo goes through his lightsaber through Luke, and then when they reveal that he's projecting himself, everybody in the theater, their jaw dropped and started applauding, and I'm like, wow. But before they revealed that Luke was projecting himself, I thought that Luke was already dead.
Yeah.
I thought that Luke killed himself in the planet, and then his ghost went to face Kylo Ren.
Well, and it's funny because if you notice him walking out too, like the ground doesn't turn red. You know, he has Anakin's lightsaber. He looks a little younger.
Yeah.
So no, here I like this scene a lot. But for me, let me tell you kind of how I would have done it, just for fun. I think Luke actually should have shown up. Everything should have been the exact same, but I think Kylo Ren should have actually killed Luke Skywalker in that scene. Because then it would have left us. Imagine this, right? So that scene plays out exactly how it does, but it's actually Luke Skywalker is there. They have an actual duel. They fight. Kylo Ren gets the upper hand. He kills Luke Skywalker. We would be going into Episode 9 saying the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has killed Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. He would have been like oh my god. So that's why I'm curious to see how they play it in Episode 9 with you know, him just being the Force ghost and Kylo just, you know, leaving as he did. I don't know. I just thought that would be interesting if he actually had killed Luke Skywalker with his own hand. It would have just made him more menacing, I think. More evil.
That's a good thing that you just said, because for me, I have a feeling that Hux will do anything in his power to kill Kylo Ren.
I agree.
Because also he's gonna see him more weaker, because he got defeated by Luke Skywalker and he wasn't even there.
Exactly.
So Hux, he's gonna taunt him even more.
Yep, 100%.
So it will be interesting how Kylo will be the Supreme Leader.
Yeah, I'm curious. Because so after Luke, by the way, I love that the first introduction to Luke is with the binary moons, and the ending of Luke is with the binary moons. I bawled. That was awesome.
Yeah, when they showed him seeing the suns, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna there. And then he disappears. I was like, oh.
I liked it, man. And that's the thing.
I
also interpreted it as Luke evolving to like being like he is so in touch with the Force that he is the Force. So I don't necessarily think he's died. I know that's what everyone says, like Luke Skywalker died at the end. For me, it wasn't that he died. It was that he is the most powerful Jedi because he is the Force.
Or he gave up his physical form to be more powerful, like
that too.
Obi-Wan.
That's also a very good point too. But yeah, no. So then, what's after that? I don't remember. Does it just go to the moon or the broom kid?
When we go with Rey and
oh yeah, she's
Leia
with the rocks
and the Millennium Falcon, and says, "Oh, how we're gonna start the rebellion for this, and we have everything we need." I think that we skipped I like when Kylo and Rey split up the lightsaber.
Yes, that was cool.
That was the last thing of the original trilogy, technically.
Oh yeah. Wow.
That this new trilogy with the original.
Yeah.
And then we cut out to Broom Kid. One of my best. It's not my best scene. My best scene is Luke, the projection scene.
Yeah.
Before
that was beautiful.
Get confused. Broom Kid is not my favorite scene.
See, now for me, this just felt very Disney.
Yes.
But I liked it. It did feel kind of out of place, but it was still not out of place.
It felt like an alternate ending that was attached on.
Yes. But I liked it because it does just show that the hope is being built again. You know, like the resistance is going to be growing stronger. Like there's it kind of it gives you that hope of the future.
I want to see Broom Kid with the Force flying in the broom.
Yep, me too.
I have a feeling that Rian Johnson's new trilogy, because he said that his trilogy has nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
It's about Broom Kid.
His trilogy is going to be a Broom Kid and other kids setting up the new Jedi Order after Rey. I have a feeling that Rian Johnson is going to set up maybe like 50 years after this trilogy. Maybe not 50, let's say like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And Rey, we can put out that Rey she's dead, or Rey she's a Jedi, but she's on the background. And this is the story of the new Jedi.
That'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
Because that's the only way to redeem Broom Kid and the horses scene.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall though, like The Last Jedi for me was just so good.
For me, it's not an 11.
No, for me either.
It's a 9.5.
I gave this on Letterboxd a 4.5, so a 9 out of 10. What's your ranking of the Star Wars films?
Ooh.
Now.
Wait, I made a ranking now.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring mine up. I have mine. So mine is number 1 is Empire Strikes Back. Then we have Return of the Jedi. Third is A New Hope. Fourth is when I'm gonna put The Last Jedi. Fifth is your favorite Star Wars film, Rogue One. Sixth is The Force Awakens. Then we end with Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, and then last Attack of the Clones. That's my list.
My ranking is number 1, New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back, then Force Awakens, then The Last Jedi. I like Force Awakens more than The Last Jedi.
Oh, I can't.
Force Awakens is a 100.
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Oh, now I can. If you wanted to start again.
Yeah, like A New Hope is my number 1. My number 2 is Empire. My number 3 is Force Awakens. My number 4 is The Last Jedi. Like I said, like Force Awakens is like perfection. It's like a 100, and The Last Jedi is like 99.
Yeah, cool.
They're almost equal for me. And then it's Return of the Jedi. Then Episode 3 and number 6. Episode 1 and number 7. Rogue One and number 8. And I like Rogue One even a little more than Attack of the Clones. So Attack of the Clones is the last one.
Yeah, which I mean, I think it should be everyone. I don't understand people that didn't like that hated Phantom Menace less than Attack the Clones. That's insane. But yeah, that's Star Wars.
Nothing but Star
Wars. So why don't we skip? Well, not skip, but we jump to the next segment here. Let's do a speed round edition of recaps and rants with Raul Rodriguez.
Or Troy doesn't watch any TV at all.
Or Troy doesn't watch any TV at all, and we both don't read books. Yeah, let's do a speed round. I'm gonna list off a couple of these shows that you told me you watched. Give me a quick review and a score, and then we can jump into our Disney and Fox discussion quick. So first thing we saw was season 4 of Steven's Universe.
Yes. Oh my God! Like they gave us Troy so many explanations about the gems because the gems they were like low hierarchy. They have something like more high range. Those are the diamonds. Those are the ones that created the gems. And so the diamonds are like these giant women, almost like goddesses, that they're like 20 feet tall. And so in one episode they kidnap Steven's father
Oh
and
wow.
they go into space, Steven and the gems, to go save him. And then they put in that episode that the diamonds like to collect humans to put them in a zoo, and they're in captivity. And so the humans that they would grow there, they never have been on Earth. And Greg, the father of Steven, they ask him what is living on Earth like. And then there's the season finale, Troy. Oh my God! Like Steven had enough that he never got answers from the gens of what happened to her mother. And also, Steven faces her mother in a very beautiful episode before the finale. Like, you never gave me your answers. Why did you give out your physical form? Why do I exist? What is my purpose in all of this? And also, everything that you did, you're not a good person. You're a murderer. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was crying seeing that moment. Him facing his mother. And then his mother she wasn't there. That was like a false mother. Like when Harry Potter sees his parents on the mirror in Harry Potter, that wasn't his parents really. And so that was the same thing in that moment.
Oh, okay.
And so then the finale, the one of the a ship comes through, and they started to hunt down some new gems. Started to hunt down everybody in the town. Like they kidnapped Lars, Sadie, and a lot of people that Steven like his friends. And at the end, the Steven realizes that he was the one that gave those gems the list. That was a callback from a thing that happened in season two that
Wow.
Steven did by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steven says, "Free them. You're the only person that you need." And the gem said, "Wow, we don't need you. The diamonds don't need you. Only a human. No, I am the person that the diamonds want to kill. I am Rose Quartz." And then he shows his gem, his mother's gem, and Steven says his friends free, and then he says to the gems, "I'm so sorry." To Amethyst and Pearl and Garnet, and he lives on the ship, and that's the cliffhanger to season four, that he goes into space to have a trial for his
Wow.
life for the diamonds. And I'm like, oh my God. I finished season four on Thursday. I haven't seen season five yet, but I'm so excited.
Yeah, that sounds great. What would you rate the season 4 in general?
9. And I won't give it a 10 because there was some filler. There was like 4 episodes of filler that I didn't like.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But the finale, that was so good.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that I'm intrigued by. I definitely want to watch it, and we'll have to do a review coming up. But that's great. What about, I know another show you watched this week was, or you caught up on at least, was The Big Bang Theory. Where are we at?
Oh,
Where are we at
talking
with
about
that?
finally doing a thing that I like. In these last 2 episodes, Rajesh, he's noticing that he's always getting bullied by Howard, like by his accent, the way that he talks to women, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so he makes an ultimatum to Howard. I think we need to break up. Like don't need to see each other anymore. And then you see Rajesh getting women. He gets a better job.
Oh, awesome.
Like remember that episode in Drake and Josh when Drake and Josh split up,
Yes.
and then you seen that Josh gets the best luck ever and Drake has the worst luck ever.
Yes, yeah. Was that very much what it was like?
Yeah, these 2 episodes, that was the thing.
Cool.
And so that was so interesting.
I met both of those guys, by the way. I have their autographs. Talking about weird. I don't really watch Big Bang Theory anymore, but Howard and what's the guy's name? Sorry.
Rajesh.
Yeah, both of them. They're super nice guys.
Mm-hmm. And so that was the Big Bang, and then I catch up on Empire.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh, it's getting so cold here. It's not only because of my excitement.
No, you cannot say it's getting cold. I'm in Canada. We have snow outside. You cannot. You're not allowed to say it's cold in LA.
Hey. Raul, he's very sensitive.
Yeah, never come to Canada then. Never. Because I'm a Canadian and I freeze up easily, so. But Empire.
So in Empire we get more Cookie flashbacks on present. Then we see a lot of the Empire employees. They do a strike, but then they settle up everything before the mid-season finale. And then on the season finale of Andre, this was a good reveal that I didn't see coming. Andre, at the start of the season, he met a cop that she was the one investigating what happened to Lucius in the finale of season 3 when he has amnesia because of the accident. But Andre was the one that put out the bomb in that car. And so throughout this whole 9 episodes, he was sleeping with this police woman. And then this police woman wanted to get information about Andre and what happened in that accident. Mm-hmm. But then Cookie notices the plan of the Dubois, that the first strike was against Hakeem, that they took up his daughter, and then the daughter went to Anika. And then the second thing was to Jamal, that the boyfriend that Jamal had was a nephew of the Dubois. And then he was like, oh, so Cookie says, so the next kid is Andre. And so then she notices that he went to a new psychologist. And so he has to be on your medication, son. And then you see another scene with Andre. He's starting to fight to the cop. And then she pushes her and she's dead. And then Cookie Lucius comes and said, Mom, I killed her. And then Cookie says, who did you kill, honey? And then you see on the floor and there's nothing. The whole 9 episodes, that cop character was his imagination, was the drug that he take for his bipolar state.
Wow.
And so I was like, ooh, I didn't even see that coming. They did the Fight Club thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you rate, I guess, then, the Empire?
Oh, that was a 9 out of 10. Like the strike episode before that, the finale was a little weak. Mm-hmm. But it was a very good, the last 3 episodes that I watched. And also the cliffhanger, they defeated the Dubois, but then you see Lucius getting kidnapped by someone, and then you see him get chained up in his legs, like in Misery. Mm-hmm. And then it's revealed that the one that kidnapped him was Demi Moore, because now Demi Moore is obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And so the next season, that is going to start in April, is going to be Cookie rescuing Lucius from Demi Moore, and Demi Moore is going to start to kill him softly, like in Misery.
Okay, so then in April I can catch up and watch all of Empire before then.
Yeah, so you have 50 episodes to watch.
Okay, perfect. I can do that. So that's good. Oh, what now? I know another show that I feel that it constantly it gives you exactly what it is. You caught up on the middle, right?
Yes, finally Troy happened. Sue and I forgot the name of the guy, Steven, or I forgot the name of, but the guy, the neighbor, they finally kissed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was waiting so many seasons for that moment, episodes of this season, like, because the whole setup, the Donahues go to the Hex house, and they make like an interchange of gifts, and at the end, Sue wraps the snow globe that the guy, I just forgot the name of the guy, but okay, he's the neighbor, and so the neighbor Steven. I think I don't know if it's Steven or not, but and so at the end, the snow globe, one of the cousins of the neighbor opens it and keeps it. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna forget about the snow globe, and I'm like, they're gonna drag this until the series finale, and then you see the neighbor outside the house because he received a call, and then he sees that his grades for medicals were very low.
Mm-hmm.
He's always an A+ student, and he got C's and B's, and so he says to Sue, says, I feel like normal, like, and I'm like, you don't need to feel that way. I'm like, for me, I'm the middle child, and I always have to stand by myself, and I know that you live in a different way because you have more stuff, you have more things than me, but you always taught me to be special, and for me, you're also special. And so they smile into each other, and then she goes she goes and she sees another sideline not to see him, and then they go back and they finally kiss.
Oh,
And that was the ending of the episode. I was like, thank God.
that's awesome. This is another show that you mentioned that I really do want to watch, because it seems like it's just so I don't know what the word is, but it just seems so heartwarming.
Yes, it's heartwarming. It's very funny. It's a very good show. I'm amazed that it has survived 9 seasons.
That's awesome.
Because a lot of networks, that kind of show, it would have been canceled like in their 3rd season.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the middle. I know the last show here that you ended up catching up on, one of the greatest television shows of all time, Supernatural.
Yes. I only watched 2 more episodes. I'm still like 3 or 4 behind.
Okay.
Of this middle season. But yeah, we've seen more of how the kid, the Antichrist Jack, see him with his new powers and controlling everything. At the same time, finally Dean accepts him. But then we finally see Castiel coming back. Mm-hmm. Castiel comes back, and then he explains that he come back because of Jack, because Jack called to him. And then we see, then there's the episode when Sam and Dean go to like old Western town. They talk like the old Western, but in there on modern times.
Mm-hmm. And
so that was a cool episode. And also seeing Castiel back with them doing a case. And so yeah, I catch on for like 2 episodes of Supernatural. I still haven't caught up more, but
awesome.
But I feel they haven't give us more answers of the alternate universe.
Yeah.
That was set up in the 1st episode, that the alternate universe, the mother, she's technically being a slave of Lucifer. And
yeah, you were saying
spoilers, someone spoiled me on Tumblr that I think on the mid-season finale, we see Bobby and Kevin the Prophet from season 9 back, but in the alternate universe, not in the regular universe. And I'm like, oh, thank you for the spoiler.
Hey, well, talking about spoilers, and before we move on to, our last kind of segment here, I had, what was that show with Heaven in it? With, what's his name?
With what?
The show with Heaven, is Kirsten Bell in it?
Oh, The Good Place?
Yeah, I heard what happened in the new season. I got it spoiled. Holy shit!
They spoil you?
Okay, so what I was doing is watching. So during award season, the Hollywood Reporter actually does a whole bunch of videos of interviews with a lot of the cast of these shows. So in that one I watched with the TV guys, there was like something that came up, and it said in the 4th season of The Good Place, it's actually second season. That is revealed that he's actually in hell and he's Satan. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's the twist on season 1.
I know, I got it spoiled. Anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to mention this with you quick.
I gave you time. I mentioned you The Good Place like 2 months ago. You could have watched those 13 episodes.
I could have. That's true. That's my bad. I still want to watch it though because it sounds awesome. But I do want to get your opinion here quickly about the whole Disney and Fox deal.
And like I said, past episodes, Disney, you can call us. You can buy us.
Yeah. I am totally fine with getting Disney paychecks. I will rate all of their movies perfect.
Yeah. And also, if they want to buy my story, I don't care if I will be a Disney prince.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, do it. And like, we'll make movies for you. And here's the thing, Disney. If you're listening, like, you can hire me to direct one of your films. And guess what? I don't charge. I won't, I'll do it for free. I'll do any of your movies. I don't care. I'll do whatever you want me to do. You don't have to charge me. I don't know. I
will do like a lot of people do right now. Like, they don't pay you at first, but if the movie's a hit, I can claim like 10% of the box office.
Yeah, give me royalties of my movie. I don't need a set price. I don't know, man. I just wanted to quickly say it just kind of sucks, the Disney Fox deal. In my perspective, I think it's gonna be amazing seeing X-Men and Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's amazing. I just like from the last report I read, it seems like almost 10,000 people are gonna be losing their jobs.
Yeah, that sucks.
And that's just so unfortunate. And I'm curious to see what happens. I really am. It's very up in the air. I want to know what's going to happen with Alien and Kingsman and all those kind of films, if they're going to continue doing like it's going to be interesting. Same with like The Simpsons. Like The Simpsons is now Disney.
Yes, I still can believe that. Family Guy, the Boss Burgers, and The Simpsons are now part of the. Wait, Troy. Alex Hirsch, he's developing a TV show for Fox, and he wanted to get away from Disney. So he technically back at Disney again.
Yep. Well, and that's I follow the guy who does the Exorcist TV show on Twitter, and that's what he said. He's like, I have no idea if I'm gonna have a job tomorrow, which is like insane.
Hey, but Cookie is now a Disney princess.
That's true. I want to see. You know what movie I would make? I really just want them to make a Fantastic Four movie so bad.
Oh, so Scully from as far as she's now a Disney princess.
Oh, also Ripley from Alien. She's a Disney princess. But I don't know.
So the Avatar Zoe Saldana from Avatar, she's now a Disney princess.
Yep. Same with Eggsy. He's also a Disney prince.
Oh, Rose from Titanic. She's now a Disney princess.
Yeah, man, it's weird. I don't know what do you what's your kind of thoughts? I guess, are you excited? I guess we're all excited,
but we're not gonna see Patrick Stewart in an MCU movie. We're not gonna see Hugh Jackman in an MCU movie.
No, we will not. I honestly think after New Mutants and what's the new one? Dark Phoenix. That like those are gonna be the end. Like that's gonna be those are the last movies in this X-Men universe. The X-Men universe we grew up loving with. Yeah, it's gonna be sad, but it's gonna be awesome to see where they go with it and to see how they introduce X-Men. Okay, like that's the thing. Can you imagine like the end of Infinity War now if like all of a sudden like a stretchy hand pops in and like you see Mr. Fantastic? And that'd be incredible.
Who will you cast as Mr. Fantastic?
Oh, actually, I'm not going to say it now because I don't have my list, but I wrote out a script. I have a finished spec script for Fantastic Four with who I would cast. And we'll actually do that on a episode of What If. I'll pitch it. I'll pitch it because it's awesome. But I do have cast members for all of them.
I think that you're gonna say Jake Gyllenhaal as Mr. Fantastic.
No, dude, I cast all like no name guys.
Oh.
Like guy like I'll give you one. Do you know their computer guy Herbie? Are you familiar with? Okay, so in the comics they have like this kind of think of like Jarvis. But for my movie, Bill Hader is gonna voice Herbie. The the villain is Mole Man, played by Danny DeVito.
Ooh.
Yeah, my Fantastic Four movie is like weird, but it's fun. Silver Surfer's in it. I have Captain Marvel and Nick Fury. Yeah. Doug Jones, 100%. But yeah, I don't know. Why don't we'll just kind of move on, because I don't know what it's just gonna be interesting to see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, and also it's not completed yet.
That's true.
It's gonna be until 2019. It's gonna be completed, the deal.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of speculation and stuff to happen, but yeah. Why don't we?
$56 billion.
I wish.
They even got, because it was at first it was 60, and so they got a $4 billion discount.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, why don't we move on to the last kind of segment here, the weekly watch list. Next week you have a lot of movies coming out. Where I'm gonna try to see as many as I can. No promises though, of course. But we have Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Greatest Showman, The Darkest Hour, Downsizing, Pitch Perfect 3, and Father Figures. Now,
what was the last one?
Father Figures. Have you seen the poster for this movie?
Oh, it looks very Photoshop.
It does. It looks hilarious. The movie's gonna be terrible, but I don't know. I box office predictions. Do you have what do you think is gonna make number one?
Star Wars.
I'm curious to see. I should look before we end the podcast here to see what the box office is for.
I think it was 210 or 215.
220 weekend gross. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
It's made $450 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Star Wars made opening weekend, 220. 220 million. That's insane. Yeah, I think Star Wars will be number one again, probably like 150.
I have a bad feeling that's gonna get a lot of bad buzz.
Oh, that's true
of all of
too.
the fans.
I don't know.
I would say 115.
115. That's good. Yeah. What do you think is gonna make more, Jumanji or The Greatest Showman? I think a lot of people are gonna see Jumanji.
Ugh.
Hey, I'm excited. I know you hate The Rock, and The Rock is invited onto our podcast whenever he wants. just so you can fight him.
Oh, we should make a bet.
Okay, let's do it.
I was thinking this days ago, and I will be totally honest.
Okay.
If I like Jumanji, you would choose my punishment.
Okay. And if what's my side of it? I need a punishment or something. What if because I think I'm gonna like it. If I hate it, then you can punish me.
If you hate it, you're gonna watch the first 5 seasons of Supernatural.
Okay, deal. And if you like Jumanji,
you're no longer gonna postpone it.
I'll watch it the day of. If you like Jumanji, your punishment. Ooh, let's make you. I want you to do a commentary or like a reaction video of the Star Wars Christmas special or the holiday special.
You're giving me something easy. Okay.
Also, just because I want to see you watching that because it's amazing.
I have never seen it completely. I only have seen the Messiah Critic.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm excited for Jumanji. I'm excited for Greatest Showman. The Darkest Hour. Apparently, what's his name? Sorry, I'm blanking on his name. The main guy who plays Winston Churchill in it, Gary Oldman. Apparently, he's getting lots of awards acclaim for the performance.
And also, technically, I'm not giving you a punishment because Supernatural is a really good show.
And hey, the holiday special is amazing, so it's not really a punishment either.
Yeah, it's very funny. The parts that I have seen, they're really funny.
But yeah, so then you have Downsizing, which is that Matt Damon short people movie. I thought that looked interesting.
I have a feeling that movie's not gonna make money, even though it looks interesting.
Oh, it won't. That and The Darkest Hour and Father Figures won't make any money, I don't think.
No.
Pitch Perfect 3 might. It has a fan base.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see it.
I'm a big fan of Pitch Perfect. The Pitch Perfect 2.
I agree. I think I like the first and second one. I thought they were fun. But yeah, I think
I have a feeling that number 2 will be Jumanji.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make like 30 million.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, I'm gonna say 35. 35. Greatest Showman might do like. Oh, I don't know. This is tough.
No, number 3 will be Pitch Perfect with like 27.
Okay.
They will be almost tied.
Yeah, I can see that. What about, now? Do you think The Greatest Showman comes in at 4?
Yeah, with 20.
20. And then, what else has come out recently?
Nothing.
I don't know, nothing. Right? It's just been Star Wars. What's
Oh, Ferdinand. I wanted to see that one.
Oh yeah, John Cena's in that.
Yeah.
You know, Coco came 3rd this weekend at 10 million.
No.
That's sweet. Justice League made another 4.
I think that number 5 is gonna be downsizing. No. Number 5 is gonna be Ferdinand with 10 million.
I buy that. Yeah.
Because it's gonna be Christmas. There's gonna be more children.
Yeah, that's a good point. Whatever. Yeah, you're right. Because animations always do really well during Christmas.
Father figures. I think it's gonna be like number 10 with like 3 million.
Yep. The Darkest Hour might like make 15.
It's gonna be 9. It's gonna be like. It's gonna make, let's say, like 5 million or less.
And yeah, like The Darkest Hour, I can see making like 15 or 12.
I don't think it's gonna make that much money.
No, I hope it does. I want to see it just because of the Oscar.
I don't want to see it because I heard that it's the same thing as Dunkirk. I was like, boring.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
No, that is the same subject.
Yeah,
that happens at the same time.
Oh, okay, I see. But yeah, I don't know. That was. I mean, I think we ran a little longer than we wanted to this episode, but that's cool. That's what happens when you talk Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, thank you so much. That's episode 13 of the Monday show. Next week, what is next? Is next week Christmas?
Yes, this is Christmas.
Awesome. So then, yeah, next week we're gonna do our Christmas oh my goodness, I can't talk. Our Christmas special. Actually, let's call it our holiday special. I like that. The Monday Show Holiday Special. We're going to have a surprise guest come on the show. And we're also going to be pitching some Christmas movies. We're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies. It's going to be fun. So we have that coming up.
Also, favorite Christmas television episodes?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I like that. That's a really good... Yeah, that's awesome. We'll do that.
Let's see if Troy remembers some TV episodes of Christmas.
Spoiler alert, I won't. I'm going to have to look them up. But... So we have that. Also, Raul and I are going to plan it, but coming at the end of the month, we're also going to have our best of 2017, worst of. We're going to have an award show type thing we're planning. So look out for that. But yeah, you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, at Troy Everett Loxton. I'm not hard to find. Check out the Tough channel. I love that, but Raul can pitch that a little bit more.
Yeah, like the Tough channel, we do our show Fanfration inspired by the Screen Junkies. Also talking that movie first came back.
Dude, I love that episode, by the way. I also, if like you're listening, please tweet out to Dan and all that like the Monday show works perfect for their new format. So me and Raul could go against each other in movie fights. And that would be amazing.
Yeah, like, and also, I also am a producer of the Oshik channel.
Yeah.
It's like a podcast, but you call in. Like it's like a radio show.
Yeah.
We're gonna do an episode tomorrow about holidays, about Christmas movies and Christmas TV shows. And also, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RaulVeroRDC. And also, keep watching the past episodes and.
Yeah. And please go check out our last episode. We had a huge interview with Jay Washington. the Urban Gladiator Trauma. He was fantastic. And you can catch out on this Friday, actually, the Schmodown Spectacular #2 comes out. And I'll be doing...
Also, check out our Gravity Falls recap. And I'm going to finish with this. I think that I love when Guillermo del Toro said in the Arlight stories at the end of The Shape of Water. He says, one of my teachers from screenwriting tell to me, Guillermo, don't make the movies that you want to do. Make the movies that need you to do them.
Oh, that's deep.
And we're gonna finish it that.
Everyone have a great night, or I guess great day. Peace out.
Peace out, Mother F's.